So let me make sure. Is the audio good? Is the background music good? Is my voice good? Is everything good? Oh, shit. Okay. Hi, Burger Stream. Burger Stream. Anyways, yes, if you're confused by the title, Saber Spark allegations in the Birdie video, so Lord Crust made a video on Birdie. It's basically just watching the I'm Back video and making like a timeline or something like that. I forgot. I watched it already, but I want to watch it again, okay? And maybe, just maybe, give my input on it because, you know, I'm bored. I'm curious, okay? I might have some stuff to say. As for the Saber Spark stuff, which we will be going over secondly and stuff like that, so you're going to want to stick around. It's probably going to be like a 2, 3, 4 hour stream, something like that. So Saber Spark has allegations of rape against him, apparently, but apparently the video that was made to help boost the victim's story wasn't handled in the best way. Also, I apologize in advance if I'm like all over the place or I start shaking or stimming or whatever the fuck, right? I had a C4 earlier. I was watching March Baby, right? Epic live streamer. Love that guy. Love him. Love Marcus. And I chugged a C4. And so now I'm kind of just like, I don't know. I'm hyped up. I should say sorry. Sorry for what? Can I finish my goon before you start? No. Anyways. Audio is good. Audio is good. Audio is good. Audio good. Audio good. Audio good. Oh shit, thank you for $10. What the fuck? Money for Burger Stream. So, God. Check Discord DMs. What the fuck do you want? Shut up, I don't care about your goddamn gooning. Anyways, audio good. Audio good. Okay, so like I said, we are going to watch the... Oh my god, this one's 2 hours. Okay, yeah, good thing I am, doing the Birdie one first. So this one is 2 hours long. It's by Lord Crust, guy with 10,000 subscribers. There's some mixed opinions on it. Some people thought it was pretty good, but me and my friends did have some input to give on it, so I'm here now. Okay, but thank you for
Jack,
money
aka
for Burger
Birdie,
Stream.
aka Damage
Loud.
Coder 6669, aka Lucifer, aka CityBear03's ex-roommate, is a YouTube anime.
By the way, something that I find really fucking funny in this community is like this whole little joke talking about how Birdie and CityBear were like dating or some shit. They're like, oh, help Birdie get away from their groomer ex-girlfriend. Like, bro, they never dated.
Who has had a tumultuous career on the platform since February of 2018.
Why am I buff?
With the year of 2024 being no different, as I will outline in this video. He's known for bangers such as I'm Back or My Room.
Also, we've got the fucking Dr. Pepper. I suggest, if you guys haven't tried it, to try the Dr. Pepper Blackberry version, because it's actually pretty fucking good, I'm not gonna lie. It doesn't even taste like Dr. Pepper. Well, it kind of does, but it kind of doesn't. Whatever. It's really good fucking Dr. Pepper. You should try it. Spend all your money on it.
Help, which incidentally the two videos I'll be discussing in this video, as they are relevant to what we care about. That being outlining how CityBear03, the self-admitted group, was not the only guilty party involved in that allegation. If you're interested in CityBear03's story, well, feel free to go back.
I like that guy's camera angle. Honestly, same. I'm talking very fast. Yeah, because I'm fucking energetic, dude. Okay? Okay? I think if I'm gonna stream, I should probably chug a C4 before I do it, because with my other streams, it drives me fucking crazy. Same thing happens at work, by the way. I won't be on fucking like caffeine or any shit like that, right? Oh, by the way, thank you for the membership. Welcome. Anyways, I won't be on caffeine or any shit like that, right? And I'll try to talk, but I can't pronounce anything, and I can't get what I want to say out. It's just like, like I can't fucking talk, and then I mispronounce shit, I fucking lisp, I stutter. Half the time I'll have something in my fucking brain and it won't come out. It won't come out. I'll be like, yeah, I've got this really good sentence. I could give really good commentary, or I could react to what this person is telling me really nicely, and then it's just like fuck, I hate it. Anyways, yeah, I guess I will be trying to be energized and shit like that before I stream, because I think it's helping a little bit. Maybe not for my heart.
However,
I don't think it's helping my heart.
It's not necessary for this video, as I will provide context when it's required. Anyway, without further ado, let's take a look at yet another example of what unrestricted internet access does to a motherfucker, and the next stepping stone in the Just a Robot saga, the YouTuber and can of worms, Birdie.
I remember when I was 12 years old and I drew porn depicting pedophilia. And instead of being concerned or wondering if I was okay, everyone got mad at me for it, and it ended up being the first thing that canceled me in the public eye. Good times. You know I was groomed by
Ash.
Kitty Dog, right?
Starts a conversation like that.
By the way, I know that it's going to go into it further in the video, but I hate the whole thing of, like, Birdie claims that Kitty Dog, who was 2 years older than him and had, like, this massive platform on YouTube or whatever the fuck, apparently groomed him because she had more of a platform, etc., right? But when it comes to Jack and the 12-year-old, like, who was it, Cherry? The 12-year-old that he was talking to about, like, how to cut yourself, how to do this, how to do that. Oh, he thinks that's fine. That's not grooming. When it comes to Draggy dating a 13-year-old at the age of 16, he doesn't see any issue with that. He doesn't see any issue with that, but he's gonna say that Kitty Dog was a groomer because, oh my god, she was like 2 years older than me, and like, obviously what she did is bad, but in my eyes, I don't think Kitty Dog groomed him.
Although Birdie themselves is not generally considered an art commentary community creator or ACC creator for short, his animations appear to be nestled into the same viewer base, subsequently having a multitude of mutual friends with CineBear03, both online and in real life. Well, for those of you who did not watch my last video, the art commentary...
Also, I have to mention, you know how he's talking about how this is the result, how Birdie is like the result of unsupervised access to the internet as a child and shit like that, and having a public platform, huge platform on YouTube as a child. That's true, but I also think it's the lack of Birdie's social life. Because Birdie doesn't have friends in real life, or at least during childhood, from what I know, what we know, what we've been told about, and the shit that he said in general, he didn't have friends. So lack of a social support group, lack of, like, an emotional support group from parents and shit like that. Basically an unstable childhood with lack of socialization in schools and shit like that. He had an IRL partner once. Oh. Their name was Worm. Met at school. Okay. Doesn't he currently have, like, no friends or some shit like that? I don't know. I feel like he's kind of estranged socially. All right, it's just, I don't know. I feel like this is the fucking result of unrestricted internet access, neglect of parental, I can't speak. Unsupervised internet access and lack of parental supervision, lack of fucking support from parents in regards to, you know, monitoring their fucking child and being there for them and shit like that. Can't really go into that. That's just my own speculation and shit like that. Blah, 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 right? Whatever. Basically a whole fucking ball of shit. Stinky, grimy shit that could have not existed if his parents had, you know, taken the proper steps, gotten him offline at a way earlier age, like back when all this shit was happening, because his parents did know, from what I fucking know. He should have just been cut from his internet life and forced to, you know, socialize more in real life. Focus on your future, focus on yourself, focus on healing, focus on, like, building a relationship with your family rather than having to rely on the internet for friends, for support, for venting and shit like that, like an emotional outlet. I don't know, there's, like, so many things that could have been done to prevent this outcome that we see now. If that makes any sense right now. I'm kind of just fucking rambling, but, like, ugh.
Community has a bit of an issue when it comes to degeneracy, with a basis in deviant art, which is, as the name implies, mixed with a YouTube comment.
Also, speaking of degenerate shit in the AMC, this was normalized for, like, a really, really fucking long time, but I think as of last year or two, some shit like that, the whole 13+ label in the animation meme community, the whole 16+ thing and shit like that, kind of created an issue, along with, like, adults and older parties normalizing the sexual topics and shit like that with art and with animations and just in general to younger people. Because, like, in our spaces, whenever we grew up, I guess, on the internet, whatever the fuck, there was a lot of sexual adults who normalized these subjects and shit like that to us. We would make sex jokes with them. We would do everything that they did, essentially, because we thought it was normal. And now it feels like that whole mindset is starting to finally, like, how do I even word this? It's not as normalized as it was, which, like, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. But I think it's concerning the fact that it was ever normalized in general is pretty fucking concerning. Thanks for the 99 cents coffee. Hi, Gamma. Hi, Karn. I don't know, there's just like a lot of shit that was really disgusting and inappropriate that minors shouldn't have been exposed to in this community, and a lot of things were normalized that shouldn't have been normalized, but they were ultimately. And so, Birdie, Cinny, Pastaru, Sleepy King, fucking, what's the other bitch's name? I don't remember the name. There's too many fucking creeps. I feel like a lot of them resulted from what we were normalized to when we were younger. Or exposed to when we were younger. I can't fucking speak. Oh, thank you for the $20, Cal. Burger Fun's going fucking strong. Anyways, I gotta stop. I gotta shut up.
Primarily consists of children. You have a
when are you getting the burger? We'll just do like a mukbang
very
stream or some
unique
shit,
powder
bro.
keg. Despite the fact that their audience generally leans on the younger side of things, it's not.
Animation memes get outed. Animation memers get outed as groomers so often because of the animation meme community from early 2017. Yeah, there was a lot of like really fucking weird, like zoophilic shit. Shut up, Ant. Shut up.
Uncommon for
lot of
art commentary community creators to make crude depictions
y'all
of
are, like,
darker
raping my
or
brain.
straight
I don't
up
like it.
immoral topics like gold.
You basically get what I'm trying to get at, though. But
rape or self-harm. Combine these factors with a Discord community that allows for 13-year-olds, and you get CineBear03, or more broadly, a grooming problem. Well, what about in regards to the topic of this video, Birdie? Well, it appears to me as if they're a victim of the unfortunately common grooming within the ACC, subsequently drawing PRR at age 12, which, as Birdie established, led to the first of many controversies. This claim was made in the aforementioned video, I'm Back, which
stand up? Why do you want me to fucking stand up? Also, why are you asking me to do a goddamn baby voice? I'm not Marcus. I'm not gonna go, wah, 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 wah. Like, fuck that. That's weird.
is fucking 2 hours long. The video was released on April 15th, 2024, and
Hi,
answered the
Ace.
question
What's
of
up,
how
buddy?
Birdie and CineBear moved in together, as well as quite a few other questions I don't think anyone asked, but regardless.
I love FPS commentary, Goat Warzone commentary. When I'm not fucking doing that. I'm not doing that, but thanks for the $1.99. I find that shit boring, okay? If anything, I'm gonna be playing fucking Roblox brain rot games and put it in the background of my commentary videos, just because I know every single one of y'all has some form of fucking autism or ADHD, and it's gonna tingle your fucking brain and make you lock in. So that's my formula that I might do in the future, okay? Not
Like,
fucking
hey,
FPS Warzone bullshit.
why have I been gone so long? Why did I come back? And oh, Birdie trauma. That's a pretty weird thing that I've never talked about before. I'll get into all that juicy stuff in a bit, but first, I'd like to properly introduce myself for the first time. Hi.
I have played Frontlines on Roblox, actually. But just
My name
whatever.
is Jack, or Lucifer. My pronouns are he, it. I'm 19. I'm aroaced and gay, ooh la la. My favorite colors are red, black, and yellow. I'm a demon kitty.
I know that he's autistic, and you know, a lot of like neurodivergent people act like this. I know I used to when I was a child, but it's kind of weird to know how shit of a person this guy is, and see him be like, "I'm a demon kitty. I have autism. I have ADHD. I like to rawr. I like to collect stickers. I like moral oral." Like, shut up, bro. Shut up. You're not quirky. It's always the quirky people who end up being shitty. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's a result of their mental illness or some shit.
I love rainbows.
Okay, sorry. It sounded like a generic, like, commentary streamer and shit like that. I get it. Have your own interests and shit like that. I'm not actually gonna judge, but with this guy, I don't care because he's a piece of shit, and I find it funny how he's like, I'm silly. I'm silly. I'm silly. Don't talk about the 12-year-olds. I'm silly. I'm silly. Like, what the fuck? It's so fucking funny.
Tacos and cats and randomness. I love Cian and Decora K and emo, but that's pretty obvious, isn't it? I have evil autism.
Evil.
I love South Park.
I have the autism that makes me talk to 12-year-olds about self-harm.
BoJack Horseman, Moral Oral, Doki Doki Literature Club, Miracle Musical, My Little Pony, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and other thingies. I have a kitty named Squirp.
Meow.
So during the
making
making
of
of
this
this video, we got another cat.
We've already watched this video
named her
before, like the
Stupid.
Jack's
Are
on
you
back
beginning
video.
to see what I mean
but
by
I'm
can
kind
of worms? Oh, also those cats that he introduced, Squirp and Stupid, well, they will be extraordinarily relevant later, so keep those little fellas in mind. This video was released after a
I hope this doesn't give my location, but I'm pretty sure I saw Birdie trauma dumping on Misha Collins at Comic-Con, and I have not gotten over it. What? Who the fuck is Misha Collins? Misha Collins, voice actor. What? I have... Oh, he's the one who made Supernatural? Okay. That's still fucking weird, though. What?
2, nearly 3-year-long hiatus.
Hey, so Misha, I know you're in charge of, Supernatural and shit like that, but, fuck. Why can't you just type instead of using the mic? What's wrong with it? It's easier to just use my fucking microphone. I don't feel like making the fucking camera shake and shit like that. But yeah, no, imagine seeing that dude and walking up to him and fucking trauma dumping. I'm assuming he was trauma dumping about his internet lore or like his parents or some shit, but that's so fucking stupid.
Which was caused by those...
Yeah, so back in 2012, my daddy hit me with a belt and it hurt really bad. Oh, and then also in 2017, I have a YouTube channel called Birdie. I got into this crazy Birdie drama shit, right? Everybody hated me because I drew child porn of me and Sleepy King. It was fucking crazy. Like, okay.
Aforementioned controversies.
They were at a panel and they made the mistake of giving him the mic. My name is Birdie. Some of you might know me from the internet. I'm fucking stupid.
With
That's
the video being recorded
stupid.
after Birdie had moved in with Cinebet. But regardless, he opens the video.
Yeah, you should have recorded. You should have fucking recorded. It would have been like a Chris Chan sighting in real life, dude.
By advertising his Twitter and warning viewers to be wary of gore. Neat. Anyway, this shout out is followed by one of the most impressively long-winded trauma dumps I have ever witnessed. Seriously, it is at least 30 minutes long. Fuck, I mean, you could argue that the entire 2-hour-long video is just one long-winded trauma dump, but...
I mean, you are kind of right, and he also lies about the people he victimized and tries to make them look like... My bad. He lies about the people that he actually victimized and abused and tries to make them out to be the abusers in question instead of him admitting to the shit he actually did. It's always, the other person did this, and they did that, and they did that, and they did this to me, and this one was really mean to me, and blah, 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 blah. Like, fuck off.
Either way, Birdie prefaces the trauma dump with this.
If you are a member of my family watching this video, including my parents and grandparents, I kindly advise that you stop here. I do not wish to have you be part of my internet life because you have irreversibly hurt me, and I'm going to be straightforward and honest about the damage that you've done. You will be...
It's funny he says he wants his parents to be honest about the damage that they've done, but he doesn't want to apply that for himself, being upfront and honest about everything that fucking happened. Instead, Maryland dude abused me, and my grandma was also abusive, and this person was also abusive, and also this person did a bad thing to me. I did bad things too, but look at what this guy did. Like, it's so fucking annoying.
Anonymous and safe from harm in my video.
They are involved in his real
again,
life. They went on vacation. Yeah, I heard about that.
Please stop.
Also, his internet shit does involve his family, because his family has gotten doxxed multiple fucking times before. I mean, shit, we've seen his mother's Facebook where she starts posting about insane bullshit, right? Fucking posting about her glass vagina collection that she has. People know how to fucking contact them. They are very much involved with your internet life, especially since later on in the video he talks about how his parents would actually sit down on the fucking couch in the main room and fucking watch Birdie drama videos on their TV. Like, I'm pretty sure they're fucking involved.
If you wanted to hear about the ways that you've abused me, you would have listened to me a long time ago, or reflected on your own actions. Okay, cool, bye, go away.
Speaking of his parents, though, this is something that drives me absolutely fucking crazy when it comes to commentary YouTubers in general who cover this situation. I feel like a lot of them try to minimize the trauma that he was actually put through by his family. Don't just mention that and move on. Go, hey, I'm not gonna go look it up. You shouldn't either, but like, shh, ignore it. Anyways, the other thing that like bothers me about commentary YouTubers covering Birdie is like a lot of them try to downplay the trauma and abuse that he's been through by the hands of his parents, because you don't just end up like this on your fucking own. Like, obviously, you can be born with a mental condition and shit like that. You know, it happens, whatever, right? But there's so much more shit. It's like Birdie is like an onion, and onions have layers, right? And there's layers to Birdie himself. His real life, his online life, his environment, how it impacted everything. Because your real life does impact how you act on the internet as well. I don't know if I'm, like, making any sense with what I'm trying to say, but, Grandma was not abusive. She literally tried to get him out of his parents' house. Yeah. His parents were fucking nuts, though. If I remember correctly, like, Birdie's dad would try to act as if he was spying on his laptop or some shit. Claimed that, like, he knew how to do shit like that. I don't know. That's also where his paranoia came from in regards to thinking the government was after him. That shit, I'm pretty sure, came from his dad.
Before I inject any more of my personal bias, let's just begin sifting through the mega trauma dump, shall we? Starting off with all of Birdie's mental and physical issues, Birdie just kind of sprinkles these in like little Easter eggs throughout his 2-hour-long video, so...
Regardless of what Birdie did, however you say that, I don't know how to pronounce your fucking username. Regardless of, like, the shit he did, there's obviously, like, something else going on with his family.
Simplicity's sake, I'm just going to compile them all here before we get into the rest of it. Firstly, judging by his straw poll, Birdie has autism, ADHD, borderline personality disorder, and is on the schizophrenia spectrum. He additionally claims to have psychosis, however later clarifies this to be referring to the schizophrenia
Also, I love the fucking angle, it's so goofy.
Spectrum diagnosis.
I would like to clarify that I was diagnosed with psychosis in September of 2023, so this is just something that I live with. I mean, I was diagnosed when I was 14 too, but like, I was in denial.
I'm kind of tired of people going, but he was awful too. His parents are his parents, they're required to love him and take care of him. Yeah, honestly, I feel like if his parents were more in his life and hadn't have been so neglectful and just, you know, letting him loose on the fucking internet, like I said earlier, a lot of the shit wouldn't have happened, and if they got the proper care and treatment for him that he needed, then I'm pretty sure the child-parent relationship probably would have been better as well. I don't know.
About it for a long time, so like, I just got diagnosed again. At the moment, I'm unsure what disorder in particular I have because I had to stop seeing my psychiatrist because I moved to another state, which I'll elaborate on in a little bit. He initially diagnosed me with depression with psychotic features, but as I elaborated on my symptoms, he realized it was something more severe and that I'm most likely schizospec. So at the moment— I'm
sorry, but I really don't like his art. That's just a petty thing that everybody fucking says, but I genuinely don't like this guy's art. I never got the appeal. Well, that's a lie. When I was younger, I used to be a fucking fan of his, right? So I got the appeal back then, but currently it's kind of just like, this is kind of shit.
Birdie says that they have depression and chronic anemia, which is actually not chronic anemia, but instead a undiagnosed heart condition. Yes, the health condition morphed mid-fucking video. The next condition Birdie claims having, I don't exactly know how to define based on Birdie's description. Birdie refers to it, or them I guess, as headmates.
I'm gonna be honest with all of you, I don't even know what Carol was. She wasn't in—
Carol? Okay, so I have my own doubt about Carol actually existing unless it was some imaginary friend. Like I was telling fucking Opblock and Kristen Ark, whatever the fuck, right? Whenever they were streaming this video. Carol was basically Jack's imaginary girlfriend and shit in his head that he would date while he was taking a hiatus from relationships and shit like that. Guess what happened when I came around? Before we dated. Carol went bye-bye. As soon as he figured out that he had interest for me, Carol suddenly disappears. And he was all like, yeah, me and Carol broke up. She took it okay. Like, what the fuck? A voice in your head doesn't just go bye-bye because you got some e-pussy. That doesn't make sense.
An alter because she couldn't take control of my body, and she wasn't a tulpa or imaginary friend because she was not intentionally created. For simplicity, I will be calling her a headmate in this section. Similarly to the psychosis drama, this should have never been drama to begin with because it's weird to make a spectacle of a teen struggling with mental illness, and it absolutely made me worse. I wasn't attempting to, like, fake DID or anything. That was never my intention if it did come across that way. I don't have any active headmates at the moment, but I do have
I'm not gonna speak on, like, any of the other voices in his head or anything, because that's not really my place to, and I haven't seen him necessarily talk about it. I'm not him, blah, 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 right? The reason why I will talk about the Carol shit is because it is relevant to something I know, and the context of Carol going bye-bye is very fishy to me. You get a new relationship, and then all of a sudden your imaginary girlfriend, who you claim is a real voice, goes bye-bye. Like, what? Can't headmates go inactive or something? I don't know what triggers it, but that's what I've got. He's claiming that Carol wasn't a headmate, though. That's also another thing. I don't even fucking
Marilyn,
know.
Susie, Rero, Goofball, Playdate, and even Edgy Jack were all sentient beings.
Never mind. He just fucking said Carol's sentient. I'm so
with their own
confused.
thoughts and emotions who originated from my brain. I really wish I had a concise conclusion or answer.
But, like, Carol was never brought up again in the future after we dated, though. That's, like, my whole fucking thing. She just went bye-bye and then she was irrelevant.
For this, but I don't. When Carol first appeared when I was 14, I went all the way to fucking Seattle Children's Hospital to see a psychiatrist, only for him to brush me off for being autistic and tell me that I have a vivid imagination and that it was just the autism.
I have no interest in discrediting Birdie's claimed conditions. There are plenty of better things to point out. That being said, however, I do have to say Birdie's description makes it sound like an X-Men superpower mutation or imaginary friends. He's never been diagnosed with anything in regards to it. In fact, the only professional he spoke to about it described it as autism mixed with an overactive imagination. According to Birdie, they aren't split personalities, it's not dissociative identity disorder, they are people that are sentient that are only in Birdie's head. I'm not tripping, right? Like, other than the sentience part, which I don't even know how to interpret, Birdie's just describing an imaginary friend.
I love how this dude says that he doesn't want to, like, speculate on any of the diagnoses or anything like that, and then he's fucking speculating on it.
I mean,
It's
I guess
kind of
they
funny.
could be hallucinations, but then they would just be hallucinated friends, which still sounds like the same concept as imaginary friends, just less voluntary.
It's not the same as imaginary friends. That would be a result of fucking psychosis. Hello?
I guess, but anyway. Oh, and also I wrote this big fuck.
Also, imaginary friends don't just stem from, like, mental illness. You can have imaginary friends when you're a fucking child who's happy and healthy.
Paragraph about what I believe to be the final of Birdie's health conditions that I'm yet to mention, or more specifically, chronic fatigue. But
Thank you,
the
Liam.
video was already long as shit, so
right.
I'm not gonna read that. If you give a shit, you can.
Fucking hell. Let me go back. Let me read. Final and arguably most notable condition would be chronic fatigue. I do feel the need to know that chronic fatigue syndrome is a historically controversial diagnosis that, from my research, physicians have no idea what the cause of is. The reason for this is in part due to its most famous, or I suppose infamous symptom, which would be, well, as the name... yeah.
Birdie's health conditions that I'm yet to mention, or more specifically, chronic fatigue. But the video was already long as shit, so I'm not gonna read that.
Thought projection is a real thing people can go through. It's believed that some of your own thoughts come from a sentient outside being. It's very similar to what Birdie describes. Okay, so that might be a good label for it.
You give a shit, you can. I thought it was at least worth addressing because I have seen people question Birdie's chronic fatigue diagnosis. However, in my opinion, there are far more dubious elements of Birdie's story, which I will establish later. First, though, I'm going to speedrun some of the allegations against Birdie from that aforementioned tumultuous career, because I don't exactly feel like litigating shit that happened when this person was a teenager, but I feel like I'd be foolish not to at least mention some of it. Oh, also, there is a hell of a lot more conjecture in this video when in comparison to the rest of my content, and that is because for most of this, we only have one side of the story with next to no evidence.
That is something... This brings up, like, another topic that I would kind of like to rant about in regards to Birdie. So he's talking about how there's a lack of evidence. The thing with Birdie, or Jack, whatever the hell you want to call him, right? That has always driven me fucking crazy, especially when I saw it, like, firsthand, is he will make claims about people and then not back it up. And then when he's told to go get evidence about shit, like, especially from, like, years ago, which, like, on one hand, I get it. Okay, you know, traumatizing things happen to you. Obviously, looking back at it can be a bit triggering. But when it comes to proving your innocence in something, or trying to prove that you were, in fact, like, abused and mistreated, then I think it would be fair to, despite that, especially with public allegations and shit like that, right? Go back and find the evidence that proves your side. However, what he liked to do in the friend group is make other people look at the old DMs with his abusers and gather the evidence instead of doing it himself. This happened with me, it happened with Al, it happened with Maryland Dude, I'm pretty damn sure. I think I even have a Google document somewhere. Fuck. Hold on, let me find this, okay? Let me find it off stream. I actually have a Google document that was made by, I believe, Al, back when he was trying to find stuff about Heimguts. Let me see. Heimguts. Fucking hell. Where is it? Al's rant. Okay, I found it. I saved this, so we're gonna go to Al's rant. Maryland Dude found CP when looking through Jack's DMs. Yeah, I remember him telling me about that. That was whenever, I think they were trying to go back with him and Heimguts' DMs and stuff like that when they were both children, and they were sharing and stuff like that, okay? Alright, when was this made? Fucking hell. Okay, hold on. Let me check the date. Al's rant. Okay, so this was in 2020, actually. The date is 2020, yeah. Disclaimer, the evidence here is limited as Alias's main account got whipped and Nade making this bit, But yeah, no, here's kind of, okay, never mind, I forgot that was in there. Oh, okay, no more of that, my fucking bad, yeah, shit, my bad, I should have checked it before I did that. I wasn't expecting that. I thought it was just gonna be the DMs. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Oh my god, dude. 150. GoatCatto, it's so over, Catto. I'm sorry. Fuck. Okay, everyone makes mistakes. I've had more than my share. Okay, basically, that's proof of what I'm talking about, alright?
However, I will clearly specify
Let's
when something
continue.
I'm saying
But basically, my point being, he always goes, oh, it's too triggering for me, but then he'll make somebody else go back and find the DMs for him, or, oh, it's too triggering, why don't you do that? Here's my passwords. Like, motherfucker, please, you cannot make everybody do what you need to do for yourself. Like, come on.
Conclusion or opinion based on limited information. Anyway, to begin the speedrun, here's Birdie talking about those aforementioned controversies from when he was a child and teenager.
So, I am notoriously
Thank you for the $1.99, don't cancel me.
Not being good at interneting, like emotional outbursts.
Do I stream less these days now? I've been kind of busy with stuff like that, but Raven, you are not a minor. Shut up. Anyways, I want to get back into streaming daily, but it's kind of just like,
constant venting, oversharing personal information, things like that. The reason I joined the internet in the first place at 11 years old is because I wasn't loved at home, and I was being abused at school too. I had a warped view of the internet, only being a child, and I believed that all of my viewers would act as friends.
Well, yeah, that explains a lot. As I've already established,
all of my viewers would act as friends. Okay, this brings up another thing I want to go on a rant about. So you know Jack's straw page or whatever the fuck, right? Where he's like, do not engage, do not interact with me. If you are a fanboy over me, or you're a Jack factkin, or if you're obsessive. And then later he gets called out for fucking engaging with a fan. Who was it? Little guy? Somebody who was fixated on his content and kind of obsessed with him. You know, they had like a parasocial thing going on. And he engaged with that. Also, all of his friends were fans. Yeah, I was a fan. Julian was a fan. A lot of people were fucking fans. A lot of us were in denial. But you know how he originally got his friend group? From the 2019 server. What was it? Fuck. What was it called? He had like this, he was hosting auditions for voice acting for his comic or like animation or whatever the fuck he was making, right? And the people who applied and got accepted for the voice acting role got invited to the 2019 server. Those were his fans. 2023, everyone in there was a fan and a minor. Yeah, except I wasn't a fan at that point. Fucking hell. I also wasn't a minor, but shh. Seth Deadly Sin? No, it was something else, I'm pretty sure.
There is a likelihood that the root, or at least...
I think I do have the... Holy shit, I think I might actually have the script somewhere. Let me see what I have, okay? Let me see. Sorry. The fuck is meat and potatoes? Oh, it's more Birdie drama shit. Hold on. Hypothetical memory. What the fuck? Oh. Who made this? When was this made? Hypothetical memory. Hypothetical memory? That was in 2020. Who made it? Who the fuck made it? I don't know. I found some weird shit of him and like Draggy, apparently. Oh well. Draggy Al. Anyways, I forgot what I was on about. Let's just watch the video.
A factor for Birdie's erratic behavior, shall I say, is...
Why did Jack make your memory character the ugliest one? I don't know. He called it Hornazi too because he thought I was a fucking horny Nazi, even though he was the one doing the exact same shit.
From like, Birdie's developmental years. As I'll attempt to outline in this video...
Torturing Birdie was the yes, torturing Birdie. That's what it was.
So the issue is that Birdie uses this mistreatment as a just...
Wait! Okay, now that he gave me the name, hold on. I gotta look. Okay. Torturing Birdie. Do I have it? No, I don't. God damn it, bro. I don't have it anymore. This is sad. I used to have a lot of shit, but now I don't. Ugh. Anyways, I don't even care.
Justification for him to do immoral acts to others.
We're only 10 minutes in. Oh shit, my bad.
I decided to come out here and talk about what happened today because the vast majority of the controversy surrounding me is false, and I believe a lot of you are simply misled or confused about the information. My therapist told me about a concept once that really stuck with me.
You told your therapist a biased story, most likely.
It's called the curse.
Because you can never be honest with your friends about how you treated people and why you get into controversy.
Of knowledge bias. She explained to me that although I know that Birdie drama consists of lies and exaggerations, and I know that my parents abused me, and I know that my ex-friends are lying about me and trying to publicize personal issues, and I know that I've been taken advantage of by everybody involved in this, nobody else knows.
I never took advantage of you, buddy.
Because you cannot see what's so obvious to me. Let me be clear, I still do not want anything to do with Birdie drama. I would not like this drama to be continuously dragged on going forward.
Yeah, sorry about that, buddy. Also, did you catch that? I swear they need therapists who specialize in dealing with terminally online freaks because
Birdie
I swear this is not the
complex.
first time I've heard of a therapist.
Dude, he fucking does, okay? This is something I keep pointing out, alright? Anytime Birdie has a falling out with somebody, regardless of what they did, if they didn't do anything, he's the victim. If they did anything, he's the victim. Obviously, if they did shit, he would be the victim. But, like, with people he would have minor fucking disagreements with, or people who would cut him off, understandably so, like, I can't speak, okay. People would cut him off for understandable reasons, right? And he would be like, that person's mean, and they abused me, and they did this, and they did that, and like, shut the fuck up, bruh. Shut the fuck up, bruh. I heard you had on stream, GoatCatto, comments. It was an accident. It was an accident, okay? It wasn't graphic. It wasn't graphic, okay? It was shitty little cartoon characters. We're fine. We're fine. We're fine. I'll censor it later.
Passing up their client to post something online because the internet just doesn't know the abuse they've endured. Yeah, I don't think I can wholly blame the therapist. If this video that I'm talking about is any indication, then Birdie likely wasn't providing the therapist with the most accurate, unbiased retelling of events, as I will display later. But anyway, Birdie ended up elaborating on that first controversy with Kitty Dog.
If you aren't aware of who Kitty Dog is, which would be shocking if you weren't.
I've already talked about this. We need to like watch
super popular animation memer who makes very sexual videos.
make very sexual videos. Are you wearing a fucking thong? What is this? There's another video that's actually kind of like quite lewd. Hold on. Hold on. It's in the fucking Cindy Bear shit, okay? The Cindy Bear shit, right? The fuck texted me? What do you want? Oh, it's you, fucking whore. Oh, thanks for $1.99. Anyways, they make really sexual things, okay? They make really sexual shit. They make really sexual shit. This is like dangerous. This is scary. Baby, why are we on stripper poles moaning? You're like busting a fucking nut. Yeah, that's not sexual. Look at her. She's grabbing her fucking tits and shit, dude. Kitty Talk makes very, very sexual animations. What is this? What is this? What is this? 7 months ago. Fuck you.
I'm totally not surprised that this happened. And when I was 11 to 12 years old, she was basically my idol. I made a shit ton of videos about her, and she commented on them asking me to join Discord, and you can see where this is going. Anyways, this shouldn't have been drama in the first place, but Kitty Dog encouraged me to make drawings like those, and that's why they exist. I know a few of you are probably gonna say this as some sort of counter-argument, so I'd like to acknowledge it.
I don't know how that. Also, my animations suck. It would not look good.
The age gap wasn't like huge. I was 12 and she was 14. But like, let's not get caught up in the logistics of grooming. I am not misusing the word. I can confidently say that this is what this was. Another thing to bring into consideration is that apparently
was Kitty Dog being groomed at the time? Yeah, from what we know.
Like, Kitty Dog was also being groomed during this time period, but this still doesn't excuse her behavior. Especially when...
Okay, so she was being groomed in the time period. Oh, but that's not an excuse. But you being mentally ill can magically excuse all the bad shit you did. Very funny. Very funny. The issue with the claim of it's grooming because I was a fan is that Jack would be responsible for the same thing. Exactly, like I fucking said earlier in the stream, bro. The 12-year-olds and the DICE server and shit like that, when you're telling them how to cut. The fucking 13-year-old you dated at 16, which, mind you, that's a 3-year age gap. You are the fucking content creator in that situation. The other person doesn't have a platform. If you're gonna be anal about shit like that, then by your own logic, you would also be a groomer. Also, thanks for the $4.99. Oh, Goat, the 16+ balls animation thingy just straight up has cropped not safe for work and was like 13+. Okay. Where's the balls? 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 Where? Where? Oh, this? Okay. 16+! Okay. I'm gonna fucking kill myself. Okay, come here, buddy. Come here. Come here. Stop! Stop. Stop, 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 stop. Fuck! Where was it? He was talking about Kitty Dog, right?
But to exist. Not popular dog is.
With the most accurate, unbiased first contribution.
Shut up!
If you weren't, she's this super duper popular animation memer who makes very sexual videos.
Very sexual videos. What the fuck is this? Dad. Dad. Also, what is the fucking character design?
I'm totally not surprised that this happened. And when I was 11 to 12 years old, she was basically
you made this after that fucking video too, so you can't be like, I was a minor when I made that.
Idol. I made a shit ton of videos.
Stick to your fucking morals. Okay.
About her, and she commented on them asking me to join Discord, and you can see where this is going. Anyways, this shouldn't have been drama in the first place, but Kitty Dog encouraged me to make drawings like those, and that's why they exist. I know a few of you are probably going to say this as some sort of counter-argument, so I'd like to acknowledge it. The age gap wasn't, like, huge. I was 12 and she was 14.
Also, this kind of goes into my whole thing where I was talking about how sexual things were, like, heavily normalized and shit like that in regards to sexual topics, role play, porn, all of that. It was considered normal back then. I don't think Kitty Dog did this out of malice or, like, you know, malicious intent, whatever the fuck, right? It was normalized. She was being groomed. I know he was also probably being groomed at the time, too, given everything that he was going into. This wasn't something done with, like, intent, I don't think.
But, like, let's not get caught up in the logistics of grooming. I am not misusing the word. I can confidently say that this is what this was. Another thing to bring into consideration is that apparently Kitty Dog was also being groomed during this time period, but this still doesn't excuse her behavior. Especially when we consider COCSA to be a trauma response, which stands for Child
I hate this thing.
on Child Sexual Abuse. And yes, sexual abuse can be accounted for under messaging like Kitty Dog did. I'm aware of the fact people are still going to defend Kitty Dog in this situation, but at least acknowledge the impact this had on me as a kid.
Well, isn't that just sickening? Yeah, so this community is so
Pretty off topic, but did you see me getting accidentally involved with the Saber Spark stuff? Yeah, actually, look what I have here. Huh? Look. You're in my fucking bookmarks. Yeah, we'll get to you, buddy. Anyways, okay.
depraved that you end up with some kind of fucked up game of telephone where these minors end up regurgitating fringe adult concepts to
Also, yeah, I don't think this was child-on-child sexual abuse. I don't know. I don't know.
each other that they either found online or from someone.
It's just like when I think of that term, it's not usually used for like online shit. It's usually used for like real life things. But I don't know, I'm not the fucking expert. I can't dictate words and their definitions and shit like that. That's just my opinion.
Anyway, the other person involved, Kitty Dog, is a YouTube creator with 600k subscribers accrued from her furry animation content. What's especially notable to us, however, is that in February of 2024, so a few months before Birdie released his I'm Back video, Kitty Dog released a document that outlined all of her wrongdoing as a teenager. Kitty Dog seemingly attempted to genuinely apologize for her actions, taking accountability and swearing to improve her behavior. Now, whether she actually followed through with this, I don't know. And it's very possible that I either don't or do end up addressing her in future content. What I do know, however,
one thing I find really funny though is like Birdie will talk about how other people abused him, but when he abuses people, oh, you can magically excuse it because he's traumatized and mentally ill. But then when it comes to other people being traumatized and mentally ill and being groomed by other people, magically there's no like fucking excuse for them. They're just still bad in like his eyes, which like obviously what they did is bad. I'm not gonna say it's not, blah 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 blah, right? But I just find the hypocrisy on that point really fucking funny. Well, you can't be mad at me because I went through this and that. You don't understand because I went through this and that. Other person who doesn't like him or other person who had beef with him says that they were going through like a grooming situation. Well, that's not an excuse. Like, if you're going to be charitable to yourself in regards to excusing your bullshit with your fucking environmental factors, your mental health, yada yada, then you should also do that for other people. You can't just be like, rules for thee, but not for me. Like, fuck off. Or would it be rules for me and not for thee in this fucking situation?
6 times Birdie's channel size. Kitty Dog is, as far as I'm concerned, a hell of a lot less controversial on the internet, with her document being received relatively...
A lot less controversial, baby. I think she was hated more than Birdie was at one point.
Positively.
There was a huge power dynamic. Kitty Dog was aware of the power she had over me, being a massive creator that I looked up to, and I was not old enough to consent to these things. I was 12.
Yeah, do you know who else wasn't able to consent, Birdie? Despite being 2 years older, Kitty Dog wasn't able to consent. Additionally, I do not think a 500k subscriber difference, or whatever it was at the time, creates a power dynamic. It's not like Birdie's channel or career was directly tied to Kitty Dog's, and it's not like Kitty Dog was employing Birdie. From what I can tell, the significant difference between how Birdie and Kitty Dog responded to relatively similar allegations is what dictates their broadly differing public reception. Well, that and their pre-established reputations, of course. More specifically, both Birdie and Kitty Dog are victims of grooming. However, Kitty Dog acknowledged this and took fault for her actions in the document. Birdie, in the months after, attempted to piggyback off of Kitty Dog's explanations, applying them to himself, while simultaneously attempting to attach all of the fault to Kitty Dog.
I want to try dating again. People are telling me that you're...
Who, let me remind you, was a 14-year-old at the time. Both of these people are adults now. They could potentially be excused for their depraved actions as a child, but that does not allow them to continue the behavior or attempt to justify it as an adult, which Kitty Dog has seemingly not done.
power imbalance, it was a 1-year gap.
Well, Birdie has. It's just an absurd double standard that Birdie is applying, and it's all seemingly with the justification that he was
Birdie's whole thing is about fucking double standards, dude. Like, that's just
the youngest party involved by 2 years,
but the other
which in my
person, but the
opinion
other
is not a
person, but the other
substantial
person.
enough
I keep
age
saying
gap
that,
to
but like,
reasonably apply that double standard. To be clear, by the way, judging by the evidence that Birdie presents, it does seem...
Are you okay, kind of? Why? I don't know. Someone makes R34 of me and Sans is concerned. That's normal. You should draw R34 of you and Sans. Wait, no, I'll draw it. Wait, no, I'll do it. Nah, I never draw R34. A few times on the computer. No. Oh, just fuck Sans. He's not real. Oh, God, can we have a threesome?
as of kid.
I feel like she's not understanding. She's not
Kitty Dog,
understanding
at
shit.
minimum,
Jesus Christ. Social
encouraged
cues.
Birdie to draw sexualized art when Birdie was very clearly uncomfortable with the idea, which is fucked. I don't know if I'd necessarily describe it as grooming, but it's definitely bad, okay?
It's not grooming. It's
My
just
issue
a
is that we're
fucking
supposed to give
overstep of
Birdie so much
boundaries.
leniency due to his various physical and mental conditions or traumatic past.
There's screenshots of Birdie consenting to this, by the way.
Why does the same standard not apply to a 14-year-old kitty dog?
This led to the first time I got into big internet drama, and Kitty Dog completely threw me under the bus with
Admittedly, Kitty Dog did not throw me under the bus. However, she has had every chance to apologize me for, grooming me, or even acknowledge what she did publicly, but she never has. She pretends like it never happened because it's easy. It's been 7 years. She really should have said something by now. Maybe she didn't fucking realize that it was wrong, and she thought it was normal. Did you ever, try to reach out to her and let her know that this did impact you in a negative way? When you're 14 doing stuff like that, and no fuss is made about it from the other party for fucking years, obviously she's not going to bring it up. She's not going to think anything of it.
this went down, despite encouraging me to draw art like this prior to it being published.
It's been 7 years. She should have said something by now. If you want an apology for something that you have realized was actually fucked up, and the other person who was involved with it doesn't realize that it's fucked up, then, bro, come on. You gotta...
Sized. She essentially made fun of me for being harassed while still pretending to be my friend.
What the fuck? Birdie is just acknowledging with a text edit on screen that...
Holy shit, sorry, this part was just my BPD brain misremembering things. Please ignore me at this part. She didn't make fun of me, she just groomed me.
What he's saying in the audio is fucking delusional, and he didn't think to edit it out. To be specific,
This motherfucker's stupid. What'd you expect, babe?
in the audio, Birdie is very clearly stating that when allegations against him came out, Kitty Dog threw him under the bus and made fun of him. This, however, as Birdie's text edit acknowledges, is blatantly false because Kitty Dog never even addressed Birdie's allegations. Do you know what's even crazy though? This is far from the most absurd claim that Birdie makes in defense of him drawing art as a child.
I think the drama that resulted from this is pretty
Okay, I will say, I get tired of this whole thing where it's like, well, even if you're a child, if you drew this, you're still bad. And it's like, okay, I get that, whatever, right? But there's probably a reason as to why the child was drawing shit like that in the first place, which I think was I think that's the fucking point that Jack himself is trying to make in regards to, oh, when I first started getting into drama because I drew pedophile art, nobody reached out to me, nobody tried to understand why I was doing it. Which I get it. There's usually an outside factor, outside influence, whatever the fuck you want to call it, right? There's always something else going on, unless it's an adult who's just drawing CP on their fucking own. Which,
funny
great.
sometimes, because the main argument that ranters use is that it was illegal for me to draw porn at 12 years old. I'm sorry, but have you ever met a 12-year-old that hasn't drawn porn? If that were illegal, we'd live in some sort of dystopian society where anyone under the age of 18 would be locked up.
What the fuck are you talking about, you deranged freak? I would be shocked and pretty concerned if I even met a 12-year-old who's drawn porn in my fucking lifespan. If that doesn't show you how skewed this Birdie fella's perspective of the world is, I don't know what will. He needs to have at minimum, 10-year-long internet detox or some shit. That's not even taking into account the relationship that Birdie had with a 13-year-old when he was 16.
I've decided to rewrite this section last minute because the situation
What do you fucking want, Gamma?
I'm about to...
Honestly, I wonder why Birdie is comfortable with Sleepy King telling him you can draw not safe for work, just send it in private, but not Kitty Dog. Yeah, I don't know.
describe as more morally gray than I remembered it being, and requires more nuance on my part in order to explain it. In 2021, I went through my breakup. This breakup alone put me into another psychotic state where I was essentially dissociating 24/7 and became unable to make proper judgment anymore. Exactly 5 days after said breakup, I was asked out by my former friend Draggy, who was
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Also, you know how I was talking about how this guy likes to make other people do his dirty work when it comes to finding evidence for him? He did the same thing with Draggy, I'm pretty sure. What was it? Whenever Draggy first came out in a video about their experiences and shit like that, unless I'm misremembering. But he was trying to look for dirt on Draggy, being like, they fucking, I know they're doing this out of manipulation and shit like that. They literally admitted that they were trying to manipulate me and they had bad intentions, blah, 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 blah. Somebody help me go find the screenshots. I know there's screenshots of it somewhere. Like, screenshots or not, setup or not, you still got with a 13-year-old at 16. What are you fucking... What? You can't... Dude.
13.
It's just
I was
fucking
16,
stupid.
and it was my responsibility as the older person to turn them down. But because of the mental state I was in, I was unable to...
Because of my mental state, I got with a 13-year-old at 16, but it's because I'm mentally ill, okay? I wasn't able to do, you know, proper thinking about it or anything like that. Yet, he talks about how the 13-year-old is mature for their age, and that's why he's logically, meaning he's considered it in his fucking brain, thought... Oh, god damn it. My fucking brain. He basically talks about how he's considered the 13-year-old as a viable option for a partner due to how mature they are. But he's gonna sit here and be like, I wasn't in the right headspace, and so I wasn't thinking logically about it. Yet you were still thinking about it enough to see them as a potential fucking partner. You were still thinking about it and had the mental capacity to register in your little fucking pea-sized brain that, they're pretty mature for their age. I think you're a viable option as a partner. You don't give up when shit gets tough. Like, come on.
The right decision. They were entirely aware of the mental state I was in. I addressed my worries with us dating, but they...
I don't have AIDS. The 13-year-old was aware of my mental state and they still dated me. Okay, you could have fucking shut them down. When they asked you, you could have just been like, I'm not in a good headspace. I'm not ready for a relationship, okay? Don't try to flip this shit. It's so fucking stupid.
They insisted that they wanted to date me, so I agreed.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm supposed to accept that Birdie got manipulated by a third...
Sorry. I just saw something epic. Oh my god. Guys. Big Birdie update, okay? Big Birdie update. Trust me, okay? Look! Look at the little cats and shit, bro. These... Gamma, are these your cats? Is that your cat, Gamma? The little babies! Oh my god. Oh my god, they're so cute. Fuck, look at them. Oh, she looks so grumpy, bro. She's got, like, all these little rats crawling on top of her. They're your gang. They're so cute! I like the little orange one. Should name him Cheddar. Just saying. Anyways. Back to our scheduled... Okay, we're getting rid of this. I don't want to see that. Okay, come on.
13-year-old when he was 16, while simultaneously claiming that Kitty Dog is a horrible person for taking advantage of a 2-year age gap when Kitty Dog was 14 and Birdie was 12. I don't know if I've ever seen it before, but Birdie has managed to make a double standard. Anyway, this segment was supposed to be a speed run, so I'm going to move on to the next notable incident that Birdie mentions that I don't bring up later in this video. More specifically, I'm referring to an argument that was live streamed between Birdie and his mother about Birdie doxing himself as well as his family because he wanted to die or something. I don't know, it's fucking deranged.
I I forget the whole context of this, but this was whenever Birdie gave Doge Dust his address and shit like that.
There are 2 live stream clips from 2017.
I don't remember why he did it. I can't remember if like they were trying to ship shit or whatever.
Me threatening suicide to my.
I remember I remember watching the fucking video that he made whenever this is not the instance we're talking about in specific. Whenever him and Doge Dust dated, right? And Doge, or Sticks Dust, whatever. They were called Doge Dust at the time. I don't care. He faked his suicide and shit, right? And Birdie made like this whole animation meme about it. And I was like, thank you. I'll say goodbye soon. Everybody started fucking crying. I remember I showed my mom that shit and I was like, Doge Dust killed themselves. And my mom was like, who the fuck is Doge Dust? And I'm like, I don't know, but it's really sad. Like, it was dumb.
My dad and another of my mom confronting me for giving out my address to somebody online. I'm not gonna play either of these clips because they were of me as a child being put in abusive situations and having an emotional response. So they're.
Wait, I'm sorry. I gotta derail. I gotta fucking derail, okay? Hold up. Doge Dust Birdie animation. For nostalgia. Okay? Where is it? Thank you. Oh, there it is. Oh my god, this is 7 years ago. I feel so fucking old. Holy shit, bruh. Lore. I fucking remember. And if it's true, I will tell you and give life to our world. Pretty sure Sticks did try to kill himself and ended up in the hospital. From what I heard, he faked it because he was trying to get back at them, but I don't know. That's our own. This was so crazy. Is this how Dust either manipulated or didn't care about Birdie or something? I've been more focused on Birdie and his backstory. I'm starting to do research on Dodge Dust. Oh, hi, welcome to McDonald's. Okay, whatever, don't care.
Deeply triggering for me. But these clips are out there, and you can search for them if you want, I guess.
Yeah, I remember that.
So, here's some 7-year-old footage of that. I'm only going to play a small amount of the 10 total minutes.
How old was I 7 years ago? I was 13. Dude. This is like fucked.
But I can assure you that both parties involved, that being Birdie and his mother.
It's kind of weird knowing that, like, it's almost been a decade of fucking Birdie drama, and I've witnessed almost all of it.
Maintain about the same demeanor the whole way through.
God.
My mom is coming down here. Hold on.
Tokaliz, or whatever their name is.
To Doge Dust? No. Did you give our address to anybody online? No. Tell me the truth. No. My God. Why? Could you go upstairs? No. I'm in the middle of something. Mom, go away.
You're gonna start drama.
On Discord. I'm in the middle of something. I Did you give our address to somebody? Shut. Did you? There are people here. I need to know.
You're gonna cause drama.
I will tell you after this. No, okay. Not after now. Mom, just dance up there right now. There are people watching this. I need to know if you gave our address to somebody on the internet. I need to know that, and Dad does too. He's waiting up here. Hold on, there are people just watching. Answer the question. Why do you need to know? Did you or didn't? Why do you need to know? That is against the rules of our internet. It was a long time ago.
I know I doxed our personal information, but it was a long time ago, okay, buddy? I'll fucking call you later, man. I'm streaming. Get the fuck out of my room, Mom. I'm playing Minecraft. Like, shut up. Oh my God. I know he was a child. I know he was unstable. He was a child. Yeah, I get it. It's still kind of a funny fucking clip to look back at. I'm sorry.
I don't know, but it was. I need to know. Could you please go upstairs? The internet is shutting it off. Right?
You're gonna cause drama. He should have just like click. Just leave. Also, look, 2 of my exes. Not that person, but this person, Toxici. Little piece of shit. Apparently he's like 24. I dated him when I was 15, and apparently he was 19. So, or was I 14? Oh shit. I don't know anymore. Whatever.
Hold on!
Scary lore.
Please go upstairs. You're gonna know. It's yes. People are watching this. And if you did, we'd call the police right now, and they're gonna come take all this. Mom, that's you go. That's illegal.
Mom, don't do that.
Mom, just one moment. You did, didn't you?
Doc, you keep bagging awful people. Are you okay? It's lore. It's lore. Got like a little mental scrapbook of. What the fuck is that?
One moment. You did, didn't you? One moment. Just tell me. Please. You're not understanding. No, you don't know it recently. How am I supposed to know? It was a long time ago. I don't know. I want you to finish talking to your friends, and then you come upstairs and talk to Dad and I. No, just, no, I can't do that. Yeah. I need to gave our last name away. That's enough. And now our address. Don't. Just go, okay? That's very dangerous. I'm in the middle of something really important. But Alvina just told me right now. Speak to Alvina. You go upstairs. I'm in the middle of something. Why did she?
Wow, isn't that crazy? It seems that Birdie's description of his mother coming in and abusively screaming at him over the doxing incident is an extraordinarily inaccurate retelling of events. And I might even argue the opposite of what actually happened. Yes, his mother did indeed threaten to call the police. However, unlike Birdie, she wasn't screaming about it and came off as extraordinarily reasonable to me. As Birdie has already made clear, his parents are at minimum in their 40s and they prescribed QAnon, so I can't imagine they're the most technologically literate. As Birdie also made clear, however, they had been receiving harassment online with
The glass vaginas. Squish. Wait. Why does squish sound fucking familiar? Squish? Do I know this person?
with their full names and addresses being dropped by Birdie's detractors. With that sort of equation, if you were Birdie's parents, who else would you go?
Oh, Squish was the founder of Evidence Found? Okay, that's
to,
why I remember then. Fucking
if
hell.
Your son,
Evidence Found was so fucking weird, dude.
Is screaming at you and being uncooperative because he wants to do his really important task of drawing art on...
They ended up being just like Jack in the 2019 server with the fucking raids and the A-logging and the doxing and all this stupid shit. It's like, dude, come the fuck on.
Disco buddies was even attempting to tell Birdie to settle down and listen to his mother.
Listen to your mom. Listen to your mom.
I mean, for fuck's sake, Birdie's mom even gives Birdie the option to finish up what he was doing first and then come upstairs to talk to his parents about the issue. If my hypothetical future kid doxed me, I'm shutting that fucking stream down ASAP.
Honestly, like, why didn't they do it in general? The mom should have fucking taken the tablet or the laptop, whatever the hell, right? This is what I was on about. If, like, the parents did more shit to be in their kid's life and hadn't have let him loose on the fucking internet like that, I feel like a lot of benefit.
Anyway, continuing on through Birdie's video, he proceeds to bring on his trans Latino friend in order to defend Birdie for his self-admitted transphobia and racism.
Because I wanted to help him word it in a way that made sense, because not only am I a trans person too, but I'm also, you know, Latino, so I feel like my...
Is this fucking Al?
Hypothetical future kid doxed me, I'm shutting that fucking stream down ASAP.
Is this about the N-word shit?
Continuing on through Birdie's video, he proceeds to bring on his trans Latino friend in order to defend Birdie for his self-admitted transphobia and racism.
Because I wanted to...
Also, I need to speak to Al. Obviously, I can't talk to Jack, but either Al or Rex or Julian about this motherfucker named Arnold, who apparently, according to, I think, Rex and Sim, was in the 2019 server, and he kind of inspired the whole racism shit. That's what I was told, okay? I don't know if I was being, like, lied and manipulated or some shit like that, but I heard that UTTP was involved with them, too.
Help him word it in a way that made sense, because not only am I a trans person, too, but I'm also, you know, Latino, so... I feel like my word has a bit more holding than his because he's a little cracker.
And then Birdie goes on to talk about his ferret.
This is a rumor I would especially like to disprove because my ferret, Chara, passed away in November.
God, I doubt Julian would want to talk to you after the Silly for 11 stream. Yeah, true. Oh well.
November of 2022.
Julian's a fucking freak anyways.
And I don't want my baby girl to be remembered that way. So, there's this screenshot that my ex spread around of me saying I sexually abused my ferret. Of course, if this was true, that would be fucking deplorable, and holy shit, you'd have to send me to jail. Straight to jail. That would be it. You'd have to lock me up and throw away the key, guys. But...
What? Wait, what do you mean but?
There's a shit ton of context missing.
Free the fucking ferret, dude. Free the ferret.
Admittedly, I didn't mention this in the screenshot, but the reason this happened is because I was groomed into it when I was 13.
I don't know if being Latino gives you the credentials to explain or excuse an N-word situation. No, it doesn't.
18 years old.
It's like, I have a friend. They're not black, but I have a friend. They're Latino. Like, okay.
I don't have proof of this because I lost the DMs with my groomer.
Hold on.
Nor do I even want to.
Sorry for the derail. We have more cat photos from Mr. Gamma. Oh my god. Bro, look at that. Look at that. Look at that little face, dude. Beautiful. And then we have another one. Look at that. It's a goofy one. Very goofy. And then we have the babies. Oh, there's 2 orange ones. What the fuck? Is this one? This one almost looks not a calico, but definitely has some very nice coloring. Look at that guy. Look at that guy. Look at him. He has his little paws out. The little beans. The little fucking beans. Little beans. And you can see like the little pink on their tummy, dude. I'm going insane. Let me see. And then we have... Oh, they're so cute. Look at it. It's a fucking tiger right there, dude. Dangerous. This is a predator. Predator in action, alright? Oh. Alrighty. So cute. Anyways. God, I forgot I still have this video to do. That's okay. That's okay. We gotta lock in.
I don't even want to say his name because this was the most traumatic time that I was groomed. I've been groomed several times, obviously, but this was the worst, and I don't want to talk about it for that long publicly. Another thing I'd like to point out, which is almost as important as the grooming context, is that right in the screenshot, I said I didn't even go through with it. Like, it never even happened. I just prepared to do it because I was 13 and I was told to. This was extremely...
This is one thing I also don't like, is everybody was like, well, regardless of whether he was groomed or not, he still did it. We don't actually know if he actually did it. We know that he attempted to, in general, I guess, by his own wording in the screenshot. He's like, I tried to get Chara to do teen ants on me, but it didn't work. So he attempted to, didn't work. Obviously not good. I disavow, right? Don't fucking make your pets give you head, essentially, right? But, a lot of people try to brush off the other aspect, or I guess the environment that he was in a way, whatever the fuck you want to call it, right? He was being groomed by Maddie. I think he was like, what, a 30-year-old pedophile, some shit like that? I don't know. But he was around a not okay person who apparently was normalizing a lot of this shit to him. So I understand the outrage, but I also feel like more people should take what was happening to him into consideration.
Traumatic for me, which is why, despite
Open
the fact
my DMs. Okay, let me see. Another pussy. Oh my god, it's another pussy. Look at it. Oh. Why is it so silly? Look at it. It's like fucked up and evil. Evil shit. I like it. Okay. No more, Gamma. No more.
These accusations were hurting me more than any of the ones before this.
The animal was used as a tool to groom him. I think people ignore that intentionally. Exactly!
Address it publicly. After
See the face zoomed out? Okay, look. Look. I'm zoomed out, okay? This is as zoomed out as I can go without exposing evil shit.
After this happened, I would cry every time I saw my ferret, and I had reoccurring nightmares about this. I was a victim in this situation, and so was Chara.
the fucking... Dude, okay. Hey, buddy.
I was a victim in this situation, and so was Chara.
Okay, yeah, so here's that screenshot that he's referring to.
Wow, you can't see it because I'm here. Fuck you, assholes.
So he attempted to fuck his ferret, Chara, in the mouth at age 13. However, claims he was groomed into it, yet doesn't have any evidence of this grooming.
He doesn't want to go back and get the evidence because it makes him uncomfortable. But regardless of that, that kind of ties back into my previous point I was making earlier in the stream. It's like, regardless of whether it makes you uncomfortable or not, if you're going to come to the public about allegations and shit like that and be like, this person victimized me, the entire internet is against you. I think it would be in your best interest to actually go back and get evidence to show that you're not lying. Show that you are telling the truth and being truthful about the shit that happened to you. Because then maybe it would get people off of you. It doesn't make him uncomfortable. It makes him look bad. He was being groomed, though. That's the thing.
What there is evidence for, though, is other forms of animal abuse.
He was able to get evidence for Kitty Dog, but not Maddie. Yeah, that as well. Unless it was like a, you know, some older Discord account and shit like that.
Swinging the ferret around, or Chara losing her color in her fur over the course of a year due to being underfed, which... is anyone really surprised? Birdie can't even feed himself, although it does make me a bit questionable of why his parents didn't step in and do something about it. Especially considering these messages from Birdie in which he claims that Chara—
Oh god, not caps. I remember that shit. Was there ever maggots or fly eggs in Chara's cage at one point? You gonna use it against me? Someone said there were. Oh, there was like 2 different times, but it's all taken care of, and Chara never got sick from it. Even if you weren't making a video, I can't get a picture right now. My friend and my sister are cleaning her cage.
Chara's cage.
Girl, clean it yourself.
Got filled with maggots a few times. Speaking of
Fucking
Chara's
hell.
cage, as far as I'm concerned, it was far too small. According to my research, aka roughly 3 Google searches, a ferret cage should ideally be a couple square feet in diameter, as well as potentially multiple floors tall. This is a hamster cage.
Goat, the mom cat is getting named Catto. Oh my god.
At best. This was the point that ferrets are not supposed to be kept as pets alone. They are generally kept in pairs, as ferrets are supposedly a very sociable animal. I mean, other than sexually or physically abusing the ferret, I can't really blame 13-year-old Birdie for underfeeding the ferret, not getting a...
At first he didn't feel the ribs, but I told him he must. He felt the ribs, a little scared. I remember one day I was petting Chara and I casually said, I can feel her ribs, and I handed her to my dad and I said, hey dad,
Second one, or giving it too small of a cage. That does seem more like negligence on behalf of Birdie's parents, although it could be explained, not necessarily justified, by ignorance. I mean, I personally had no idea how to raise a ferret before this segment, but...
Obviously, like, okay. How do I word this, okay? First of all, the parents shouldn't have gotten him a fucking ferret. If he can't take care of himself, then what makes you think that he could take care of an animal, even if it's like an emotional support animal? They had a dog. I think the dog could have been enough, unless it's like, you know, not bonded to him. But like maybe instead of getting a fucking emotional support animal or, you know, investing money in getting a pet, maybe you should have invested money into getting him proper help earlier on in his fucking life. Because from what I've heard, and from sources I'm not going to quote right now because it's a big secret, it feels like he was failed, especially as a child. Like, there should have been fucking intervention a long time ago. Whenever he was having his outbursts and shit like that in school. Like, come on.
I wasn't really intending on getting one, so I think that about wraps up the speed
I really
run.
do feel as if he was parented better, a lot of this shit wouldn't have happened. And I keep saying this, and I'm going to keep saying it over and over and over again.
That I will address later after the Cinebear 03 stuff. Anyway, with that being said, let's go into part 2 with Birdie's life story in the video I'm Back.
Fuck work anyways. It's not like I'm physically or mentally capable.
I already said this in my original coverage of his I'm Back video, but in 2022, 23, some shit like that, he and his dad were talking about... How do I know this? Because he told me. Haha. Actually, me, his dad, and him... Wait, no, that sounds weird. Okay, whatever. His dad was gonna help him get a job. I was helping him, like, with, like, bank account shit, how to get an application, how to get a job, blah, 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 blah. So he had 2 different people talking to him and trying to help him better his life. Get a job, get some money, save up to move out, yada, yada, yada. But then, fucking 2 years later, he's like, fuck work. I'm not mentally or physically capable. You never tried. You never fucking tried. Like, you could find something that you don't have to stand up for multiple hours of a day to do. I'm sure there's some job out there that would, like, you know, cater to your fucking needs and shit like that. And also, you don't know it, you don't know what you're capable of until you put yourself out there and try it. When I was like 16, I didn't want to get a fucking job. I didn't get a job. I didn't want to have a job, shit like that. But I was forced to. And then I realized, despite me being scared of having that job, thinking that, oh, well, I have ADHD and I have social anxiety and I have bipolar and I have all this other shit, I won't fucking last, right? Guess what? After 2 years of working at that fucking job, they made me a manager. You don't know what you're capable of or where your strengths lie if you're not going to put yourself out there and figure it out. Like, if you work for like a week or two or something and realize, hey, it's actually hurting me mentally and physically, then cool. But you can't say that if you haven't tried. You know? Like, come on,
enough
man.
to uphold a job.
I mean, for fuck's sake, he was talking about working at like a pet shop or something. He could have done that.
In the first place. Fuck capitalism, fuck the public school system, fuck ableism.
The first major topic that Birdie addresses in his 2-hour-long video is the supposed abuse that his family had done to him.
And also, I know he's probably gonna pull the, oh, well, I have this mental illness and I have an eating disorder. Let me be fucking honest with you. I've got PTSD, CPTSD. I've been through a lot of shit. I've been through rape, molestation. I have had abusive parents. I have had a lot of bad shit essentially happen to me. I've had a bunch of people on the internet fucking stalk, groom me, etc., etc. I've had an eating disorder since I was like, what, 13 years old, if not younger? But look at what I did. I have my own apartment. I have my own animals. I have a fucking job that I'm a manager at. Obviously, everybody is different. Everybody is fucking different. But my point still stands. The point of, don't diss it till you try it, okay? Come on. Come on. And I'm not going to be like, oh, well, I went through so much more shit than you did, so you can't, like, no. I'm just saying, regardless of everything that I went through, I still put myself out there despite me not wanting to, and I've realized that it was good for me. And I feel like it could have been beneficial for him if he had actually put in the effort to put himself out there. I understand the fear. I understand, like, you know, your own issues going on and everything like that. But, like, come on. Come on. Duh. And then to also think I had offered... I brought this up in the other fucking stream too, but... I'm glad he didn't end up moving in with me or anything like that, because that would have been fucking weird.
I was gonna mention here how
it wouldn't have ended well, that's for sure. I am not gonna fucking house somebody who doesn't do anything, regardless of their mental health and shit like that. Like, come on.
My whole life, but due to recent
events, I'm not a
events,
caretaker.
I've come to find that my whole family is abusive, not just my parents, and I'd like to talk about it. Well, with the exception of my siblings, of course. I'm talking about my grandparents.
Okay, well, what have they actually done to be abusive, though?
Oh, the grandparent shit pisses me off.
My parents are very abusive.
I'm not going to debate the parental abuse that he went through and shit like that. I'm not going to debate that. He's talked about it in private before. He's talked about it publicly. It's well known that his parents weren't good people.
I'll give some examples in a little bit.
Despite all... Okay, here's the other thing I also hate about people who cover Birdie. So they lack nuance and, like, understanding. A parent can do good shit for you, but still be a bad parent, you know? Neglect. They could take you to fucking Disneyland, they could help you find a job, they could do this, they could do that, but they're still capable of doing bad shit that can't be forgiven. Bad shit that still would make them an abuser, alright? And a lot of people are like, well, their parents did this and that and that and that and that, so how can he claim that they were abusive? Like, come on. Think. Think. Think.
First, let me put this into perspective for you. They are conservative Trump supporters. They are racist, sexist, transphobic, homophobic,
mention the glass vaginas,
anti-maskers, conspiracy theorists.
Oh, and also the foreskin thing with, like, his mom. I think his mom cheated on his dad for, like, foreskin pictures from other men. It was like a whole fucking thing. It's fucking weird.
They're literally in a cult.
His mom is fucking...
Kids,
why did I say her? What the fuck? I've never referred to Birdie as that before. I think it's because I was talking about the mom cheating on the dad for, like, foreskin pictures. But anyways, yeah, there's that.
Physically abused me for my whole life, as well as neglecting me. And I can say that my siblings have endured similar treatment.
Well, what the fuck? Why not just open with that? If Birdie's own parents emotionally, physically, or even sexually abused him as a child, would that not be enough to single-handedly classify them as abusive? Why attach a bunch of terms that have more to do with politics?
Because he's trying to drive the point that they were genuinely shitty people home. This isn't really something that you should be, like, commenting on as deep godly as you are. Like, I don't see
or ideology. Sure, I don't even agree with their beliefs, or
you can't just drop that and not elaborate. I just did, bro. Like, his mom was a fucking freak. She collects glass vaginas. She was fucking weird. Insisted on bathing Birdie, which this is where the sexual abuse thing stems from, by the way. How old was it before Birdie stopped getting bathed by his mom despite his protest? Like, I think he was a teenager or something? I don't remember. But that was where the sexual abuse shit stemmed from, with some other stuff that I'm not gonna go into detail about, because not my place. But yeah, no, there's a lot of shit, okay? She's fucking nuts. She's fucking nuts.
And having 7 fucking children, but that doesn't necessarily classify them as abusive. Oh, hi, Nugget.
I'm not even gonna.
There's not exactly evidence of abusive behavior, and if anything, attempting to classify as such just weakens Birdie's argument. Anyway, Birdie goes on to state this about the alleged emotional abuse.
One day, my parents literally swarmed me in the basement, so I hid in my room, and they screamed.
Look. It's a Chips Ahoy cookie, alright? Chips Ahoy. And I was fucking mad because they didn't have the chunky chocolate chip ones at Walgreens. Like, fucking hell.
Through the door for about an hour.
Also, yeah, Cal, it's kind of, it's not great. It's not great. I would like to know, though, like, the context to why they fucking are screaming at him and shit.
Or more about how I'm lazy and faking depression to quote-unquote be a victim or whatever. They cut off my internet directly afterwards and they refused to bring it back. This happened when I was 14 too, except when I was 14 I ended up having a psychotic break that lasted for months, and the Wi-Fi being out was most of the reason for it.
Oh yeah, this brings up another point I would like to make. When your entire like social life relies on the internet and your coping mechanism is the internet, bad combo, set up for failure. The reason why Birdie would freak out about the internet being taken away is because that was his only source of communicating with people other than his siblings and whatever like real life friend he may or may not have had, which he never went into detail about. He seemed pretty fucking socially isolated. Oh my god, fuck me. Okay, when you're that young and all you have is the internet for a social life, of course you're gonna break the fuck down and be fucking weird about the internet being taken away from you. Of course you're gonna melt down, you're gonna lash out, you're gonna scream, you're gonna cry, because that's your escape, that's your coping mechanism. Without it, you have essentially nothing, which I think is the mindset that he had about the internet and why he's been so fucking obsessed with it. Because without the internet, let's be for real, he is nothing. He has nothing. And that sounds mean to say, but it's true, which is why he should have had an intervention a long time ago so that he could have had a better chance for his future instead of whatever the fuck we're witnessing right now.
So, back then, I obviously didn't want to have a psychotic break again, and I had nothing else to live for aside from the internet, so I attempted suicide. I told my parents I...
And a lot of people are gonna be like, oh my god, he tried to kill himself over the internet. It's more likely than you think.
Needed to go to the hospital because I thought I was bleeding out when I was actually fine. And they refused to give me medical attention, and they laughed at me and even threatened to call the police because I was quote-unquote threatening them to take me to the hospital. The next day, I heard my mom on the phone gossiping to her friends about how I attempted suicide and how stupid I was for doing it, and then treated my dad like a hero.
I am also, not to trauma dump, but this is also part of why, like, you know, I wanted to be Birdie's friend and why we became friends and everything. Me and Birdie have very similar, like, issues regarding our childhood and shit like that. The whole not having friends and relying on the internet. So GoatCatto did not have friends growing up really until high school. GoatCatto lived 30 miles, well, not 30 miles, what the fuck am I saying? Like 20-30 minutes out into the country where there are no kids, nobody to socialize with. All I had was the internet and an abusive mother, right? Right? And so when I discovered the internet at the age of 5 years old, which is where it all started, I had an unhealthy attachment to it, especially as I grew older. Because I had nobody to talk to, no friends, no like social life or anything. I was completely isolated out in the country on my own with nobody to talk to, aside from random strangers on the fucking internet. Some who were nice, a majority who were evil people who like fucking groomed me and shit. For me, the internet was my everything, and I used to have meltdowns like that as well, but it wouldn't, you know, go to the point where it's like, I'm gonna kill myself if you don't give me the internet back. So this is also why I say I get it. I get why he was so dependent on the fucking internet, and I don't feel like that's something you should judge him for, but rather his parents for. Because, like, I wasn't allowed to have a social life. All I had was the online community where I would overshare and trauma dump to and get into online discourse and shit like that. And then whenever I would get into online discourse and shit like that, I would go to my mom and then she would fucking punish me or not help me with anything. So I get it. I fucking get it, bruh. I get it.
For refusing to take me to the hospital.
Oh my god, what the fuck? This is giving me a headache. Remember when I mentioned at the beginning the concept of what unrestricted internet access does to a motherfucker? The entire 2-hour-long video is like this, by the way. There is just so much information to pass through being dumped on you at every turn that I'm gonna have to skip over a bunch of the less important shit, else risk a video the length of the Mr. T Lexify one. What I'm gathering from Birdie's description of the situation is that Birdie's parents were frustrated with the lack of action from Birdie in securing his future. So they turned the internet off after an argument, which subsequently led to Birdie suicide baiting with the claim that he didn't want to re-trigger his psychosis due to lack of internet access. Yeah, sure, if what Birdie is stating is true, it is pretty horrible of his parents to claim that he was just faking his depression as an excuse for his laziness. What are you fucking doing? And they probably should not have screamed at him, but overall, this entire situation is a pretty common dynamic between parents and children. I'm sure you or someone you know has been involved in a similar argument with a parental figure that may have even led to someone's internet being turned off. One thing I'm hoping you can't relate to though is the part where someone cuts themselves and begs to go to hospital. At risk of sounding like a jackass, Birdie is very clearly still alive and well making this video, so maybe Birdie's dad was onto something by refusing to
Yeah, I don't really like this take. If you cut yourself deep, not deep enough to bleed out, but you don't know that. Genuinely, why should I even have to fucking say anything about how this is stupid? Your child cuts themselves pretty fucking deep in an attempt to kill themselves. And the child has to fucking beg the parent to take them to the hospital because they are freaking out and thinking that they're gonna die, and they might realize, oh my god, I don't want to die, I don't want to die. Or, this wound is nasty, or, I need help. What's so fucking deep about that, bruh? In 2021. Fuck. This is why I keep saying me and Birdie have gone through, like, a lot of the same shit. In 2021, GoatCatto tried to go bye-bye, right? Bye-bye, Catto? I did it the wrong way, but I still had to fucking beg my own mother to take me to the hospital. That could be the same shit that's happening with Birdie and his fucking dad, bro. Like, kid's freaking out, doesn't want to die, kid's freaking out and fucking hurting themselves, and they beg the parent for help in any fucking way, shape, or form. And then they get denied that. It happens. It fucking happens. It may be, you know, something strange and unusual to the untraumatized people on the internet, but it fucking happens.
Take him to the hospital.
I told my parents I needed to go to the hospital because I thought I was bleeding out when I was actually fine.
I mean, it's not like he went and cut Birdie. It is kind of obnoxious to self-inflict harm and then expect someone to take the time out of the day to take you to the hospital. Additionally, I have to wonder how many times Birdie's parents experienced suicide baiting from Birdie, considering they supposedly immediately refused to take him to get medical treatment, yet apparently cared enough to get mad at him for being lazy. They do have 7 kids after all, and as far as I'm concerned, none of those are dead, so it's not exactly like they're just letting the kids off themselves with no concern.
It's not just like they're trying to let their kids off themselves. Your child tried to fucking Your child tried to off themselves and they didn't do it right, and then your child's crying to you about how they tried to... This is so fucking gay. Oh my god.
Concern for their well-being. This notably isn't the only...
Think. This is not Saber Spark, this is Lord Crust. This is about the Birdie shit. This is not Saber Spark, this is Lord Crust. This is a Birdie thing. We haven't gotten to the Saber Spark shit. It's gonna be a very long stream, so if you guys are going to bed soon, listen to my amazing voice as I lull you into a fucking slumber. Like,
the instance of Birdie suicide baiting specifically his own parents mentioned within this video. There is also this.
There are 2 live stream clips from 2017 of me threatening suicide to my dad, and another of my mom confronting me for giving out my address. I'm not gonna play either of these clips because they were of me as a child being put in abusive situations and having an emotional response, so they're deeply triggering for me.
Ah. And here's that audio he doesn't want to play.
You need to go to bed.
Well, maybe if I had my computer in my room.
That's not gonna happen, and we could still hear you upstairs.
Well, can you, like, not come in here because you're gonna cause drama?
You can be on if you're talking during the day, but not at night.
you're gonna cause drama.
It's 3 in the morning now.
Oh, it's not.
Yes, it is. 2:45, it's 3 in the morning. I can control the time.
Dad, stop! You're gonna make someone hate me!
Well, it would be fine because you won't be on the internet at all. If you follow directions.
If you cut off the internet, I'm gonna kill myself. You know that.
Based on the fact that it was live streamed, and Birdie described the last suicide baiting incident to have happened after the Wi-Fi was turned off, it's my impression that these are 2 different incidents, although the description from Birdie sounds so remarkably similar that I'm not 100% sure. If I am correct though, then that means Birdie suicide baited his own parents over them turning the Wi-Fi off at minimum twice now, which he does somewhat acknowledge.
Once again, to the mentally well and untraumatized, this shit looks crazy. And I will admit, I've laughed at this shit too, but when it comes to, like, you know, covering this commentary-wise, it's like, it's funny to look at in a way, because it's like, if you cut off the internet, I'm gonna kill myself. When you fucking hate the dude, you know. Everybody mocks it, whatever. But once again, you still have to understand why he's acting the way he's fucking acting.
Although, of course, simultaneously attempts to justify it.
I just want to say it was not okay for me to threaten suicide to my dad. Nobody should ever do this as a tactic to get what they want, and although it took several years, I've recently grown out of this behavior. But I want everybody to understand, I was...
Also, for some reason, people call me a fucking birdie sweeper when I say that I sympathize with some parts of his story and what he's been through. But people also fail to acknowledge that I can literally point out every other bad thing he's fucking done and drag him to hell over it. God forbid a bitch have nuance.
I was 12 years old.
And understanding of how somebody
and
works.
My parents did not love me. They never paid attention to me, and I learned that the only way they would take me seriously is if I threatened suicide. This came from a genuine place of suicidal ideation too, so it never came across as a manipulation tactic to me until I took my hiatus and thought about my actions.
That's the other thing too, because, like, he's got nothing else to live for. He's gonna think that the internet is his only escape, his only, like, output for anything. So naturally speaking, he's going to be dependent on that to the point where if the parent comes in and removes his safe space, removes his outlet, he perceives that as a fucking threat. Emotionally, mentally, just in general. That's a threat to his own safety. So without that safety, he wants to himself, you know?
Throughout my life. Another thing to consider is that I have BPD, and one of the symptoms of my disorder is literally suicidal threats and gestures along with self-harm. This is a facet of my disorder, but I've gotten much.
Also, regardless of having BPD, obviously, you know, that's like a whole symptom thing, being impulsive and, like, making threats to hurt yourself, yada, yada, yada. Regardless of your mental illness, you still should not do it. Yes, it explains why you're doing it, but at the end of the day, you know, abuse is abuse. You shouldn't do these things. It's all about impulse control and healthy coping mechanisms, methinks.
Much better at not having suicidal outbursts. And I can admit that although I've improved, I still feel suicidal at times, but I try to express it in a manner that does not come across as manipulative. The reason I told my dad I was gonna kill myself was because I was live streaming at 3 a.m. and I didn't realize this was something I wasn't supposed to do, so my dad walked in and told me to stop, and I said I would. He came back later on because I was taking too long and told me he was gonna cut off the Wi-Fi, and I misinterpreted what he said and I believed he was gonna cut off my internet access forever.
I feel bad for Birdie, honestly. That's the thing. You're allowed to feel bad for bad people, okay? There's nothing criminal about that. You can understand a bad person, you can sympathize with a bad person while not excusing their actions or trying to just sweep it under the rug, you know?
Did that,
and a lot of people don't realize that.
I didn't want to be alive if my escapism
you can dislike somebody,
away,
but still,
so I
you know,
lashed out.
Oh,
be sympathetic or empathetic, whatever.
Baiting, like it's an old set of clothes.
I didn't mute during either of these live streams because I was caught up in the moment and I wanted people to sympathize with me. I truly believed that if people saw my emotional responses to these situations that I would be pitied, which is something that I always confused for love. It really is my fault that I decided not to mute the live stream, but at this age, I didn't have the capacity to understand what happens when you put out personal things online. This is a concept I didn't.
This is another thing. This shit was normalized in our community. Oversharing, trauma dumping, regardless of whether or not you had an audience. Making videos and animation memes and shit like that. It's a way that these people cope. They don't have anybody to turn to in real life, and sometimes, you know, the therapist or the friend they may talk to every now and then isn't enough. And because of, like, all the shit that was normalized in this community about, like, oversharing about topics, be it, like, emotional, mental, sexual, not safe for work, etc., right? It was normalized to just post about those things without second thought and, you know, be heard. Which I get it, I did that shit too. However, there still is inherently an issue with doing shit like that because, you know, you're oversharing to the internet. There are people out there who fucking hate you and shit like that. They'll use that against you later on. Which, like, not only that, but I feel like posting to the internet about all of, like, your trauma, if, you know, okay, how do I word this? Be mindful of what you post because some people will make fun of you and use what you post against you. If you aren't ready for that to happen, you shouldn't be posting it, you know? I don't know if that makes sense or not, but like,
even understand until recently.
There's a reason why I'm comfortable talking about certain things on stream because I know how to cope properly. I don't care if people use it against me and shit like that, right? But like, fucking hell. Hey, Goat, do you have any of the evidence found 01 video safe? No, I do not. I would have to go digging if I did, but off the top of my head, I don't think I do.
Yeah, I don't know if you figured that out yet, buddy. Let's get back to Birdie's retelling of his life story, shall we?
I found loopholes to get my internet back in 2022 without my parents' knowledge, of course. But with my internet taken away, I quickly began to realize the extent of my parents' abuse, and I realized I needed to get away from them as soon as possible. But I was only 16 and I didn't have any friends IRL, so there was nobody to save me. Eventually, an online friend, who I will not be naming here, got in contact with me and offered me a safe place to stay. The issue with this is he lived all the way in Maryland, and I lived in Washington State, so I would need to prepare to move cross-country. I waited until
I've already talked about this with Opblock, I've already talked about this on Chris's fucking stream going over this shit. I've already made a fucking comment on this goddamn video about it, right? Oh my god. Okay. So for the 2023 Maryland situation, I was there, I was the middleman, already fucking talked about that shit. But this segment of the video pisses me off every single time I watch it or somebody else watches it, because he tries to sit here and act as if Refix, the Maryland dude, was love bombing him, manipulating him, gaslighting him, etc., 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 right? No, he fucking didn't. Maryland dude tried to hold the gifts that he was gonna give me over my head. That's bullshit. After Refix fucking blocked you, I was the fucking middleman for y'all. I was the messenger man, alright? I was talking to both parties, shit like that, right? And you're talking about how, oh my god, he tried to love bomb me with the gifts. I never even asked for them. I was asking you what gifts you wanted prioritized and relaying the information back to Refix. What the fuck do you mean he was trying to love bomb you? The entire point as to why he got you so many gifts was because he wanted you to have a nice Christmas. He wanted you to have nice fucking things, because you sit there and you bitch about how you want all this and that and you don't have a job and your life fucking sucks. Like, come on. Anyways, I'll probably rant about this in a minute whenever he actually says the shit.
For over a year, all while hiding parents' knowledge, of course. But with my internet taken away, I quickly
Let me go back.
need to understand what happens when you put out personal things online. This is a concept I didn't even understand until recently.
Yeah, I don't know if you figured that out yet, buddy. Let's get back to Birdie's retelling of his life story, shall we?
I found loopholes to get my internet back in
So
2022.
wait, what the fuck? Was I seriously around for the... Oh, fuck. Toshi, if you're still here, do you remember the Gilded server that Birdie, you, me, and, who was that? Jinx and some other people were in before he came back on Discord and shit like that? Fuck. Was that whenever he started getting his loophole and shit like that? I fucking forgot. I forgot.
Without my parents' knowledge, of
I remember
course.
being in your Discord server and Birdie joining lol. Yeah, and I made him a fucking moderator and somebody got mad at me over it on Twitter.
But with my
But like, he was on Gilded either in 2022, late 2022, or early 23. I remember that because we got invited to that server. And I
internet
remember like
taken
the
away,
icons
I
and shit
quickly
like that.
began to realize the extent.
But as for the internet, like, loophole and shit like that, which, by the way, it's really funny, he'll talk about how his grandma tried to force him to get a job and how he had to walk 15 minutes in the hot sun to get schooling and shit like that, right? He would walk 15 minutes to go to the bus stop, get picked up, dropped off at the fucking library so he could get Wi-Fi and talk to us. And then he also had the brains to figure out how to bring home a hotspot router from the library that he registered. So he's not incapable of doing shit.
Abuse, and
It's just a matter of whether he wants to do it.
realized I needed to get away from them as soon as possible. But I was only 16 and I didn't have any friends IRL, so there was nobody to save me. Eventually, an online friend, who I will not be naming here, got in contact with me and offered me a safe place to stay. The issue with this is he lived all the way in Maryland, and I lived in Washington State, so I would need to prepare to move cross-country. I waited until I turned 18, and I prepared for over a year, all while hiding my plans from my parents. I relied on this guy for my own safety, and he began to emotionally abuse me as well.
I relied on this guy for my own safety, and he began to emotionally abuse me as well. But let's ignore the fact that I would send him photos of my self-harm. Talk about killing or cutting myself anytime we had a disagreement or he wanted a break. Talking about killing him anytime he tried to distance himself from me. Oh my god. But yeah, no. Maryland dude was the abuser, right?
Well, he became my favorite person because guess what? I have borderline personality disorder, which I will talk about more later, which quickly worsened our unhealthy relationship.
Yeah, on your side, he wasn't doing any of that bullshit to you. Also, Jack likes to claim that Refix put him in danger by putting him into contact with dangerous people. That was a lie, okay? That was a fucking lie. He put Jack into contact with friends that Jack used to have and had a falling out with because they wanted to make up with Jack and start again. Don't quote me in case I'm wrong, but that was the fucking explanation that I remember. That was the thing I fucking saw, alright?
As soon as I had plans ready to purchase a plane ticket, he blocked me, leaving me back at square one, stuck in my abusive household with my parents and with no support system at all. He intended to let me stay at his mom's house, and I was under the impression that she knew I would be coming and that she was allowing me to stay there. I learned after the fact that this guy had lied to me and that his mom had no idea about our plans. Like, she just thought that I was coming to visit, not that I was...
Can I use the info you share here in the video, TM? Yeah, you can. You can tell him he can use it.
Gonna live there.
Although Birdie's retelling of the story does come off as extremely uncharitable, this is an instance where the other party involved, the so-called Maryland dude, has actually come out with his own perspective.
Remember when you called me abusive after I tried to leave you like 3 times, and each time you kept guilt-tripping me to come back by threatening to kill yourself? You tried to get me stranded in the middle of a country, okay? I was 17 and a junior in high school, my bad.
Which I will address later.
That shit was so fucking stupid, dude. Like, Birdie... Oh my god. I need to find the fucking TMs and shit, but like... This motherfucker, he knew what he was doing. He literally vented to me all like, oh, I'm just like BoJack Horseman. Maybe Maryland dude will come back if I stop hurting him. I can prove to him that I'm, you know, not fucking, I'm not the same. Like, ugh.
Also, another really weird thing that this guy did is that he kept bribing me with gifts. Like, according to him, he spent either $200 to $400 on gifts for me from, like, Amazon that he planned to give to me when I arrived at his house.
And also for Christmas, motherfucker, he had a bunch of Christmas gifts.
And like
you're leaving that out, okay? He had gifts that he was gonna give you when you fucking arrived. He had gifts that he was gonna give you for fucking Christmas. He cared a lot about you. He wanted you to have something nice and special for once. Who fucking cares?
Even weirder,
this person did a good thing for me. Where's that fucking meme? Where's that one fucking meme? I saw it on Twitter or some shit where it's like, when somebody's trying to be nice. Oh, wait, no. It's like when you're trying to be nice to somebody, but they think it's a manipulation tactic. Like, fucking hell.
I have proof that these gifts were real. He ended up sending like 3 of them to me in the mail.
Yeah. Thanks, Maryland guy. Kill yourself.
And he would hold these
saying that to the dude he abused, by the way.
Over my head constantly to like.
He would hold the gifts over my head constantly. So the context with that would be whenever they were upset, I'm pretty sure, Maryland dude, Refix, whatever you want to call them, right? He would be upset and complain about how he spent all this money on Jack despite Jack fucking mistreating him. Like, it's not a whole fucking, this isn't a situation where it's like, oh my god, I bought all this shit for you, and you're doing this as like a manipulation thing. I think it's more so Rantis, Maryland dude, was upset that he had spent that much money on him, that much time, trying to help him, you know? And yet, despite all the good that Refix tried to do for Birdie, Birdie treated him like shit. It's not a manipulation thing, okay? Not a fucking manipulation thing. It's somebody who's upset. It's not fucking hard to understand, okay?
Like, manipulate me. Like, whenever I did something that he didn't like, he would try to control me by being like, dude, I spent like $300 on gifts for you and you're gonna act like this? You're such a bad friend. And
you are a bad fucking friend.
And like, he would keep increasing the price.
Notice how he like talks extensively about all the shit that Refix did with no context as to what Jack did. He's just like, yeah, this motherfucker bad. He bought me all these gifts and he was trying to love bomb me, but he's conveniently leaving out the whole self-harm, manipulation, fucking threatening to kill or cut yourself thing, ignoring Refix's boundaries of not talking about or sending him that shit or pinging him or like posting it in a place where he can see. He ignored that. And he's ignoring it again in his own fucking video.
Every time he like used this tactic, like it started out as like, I spent $200 on you, and then it went up to like $400. So honestly, I don't know how
400 to 600,
much
I believe.
he spent on those gifts.
Yeah, I mean, with that description, this dude does sound pretty wretched. Holding a gift above someone's head is gross.
That's the thing. It didn't happen. That didn't fucking happen. That didn't fucking happen.
From Birdie was he referring to that Birdie conveniently left out of the story? It might explain why.
I hope you actually go into detail.
Blocked Birdie the moment that Birdie bought a plane ticket. There is no indication that this Maryland dude knew that Birdie would be buying a plane ticket that day. Yeah, I would probably block some delusional abusive freak too if they suddenly decided to enact years-old plans of flying to my house and living there. Also, what the fuck is this guy Keemstar when he was reporting on Pyro's 16, 15, 14-year-old French girl? Why does he keep changing the numbers spent on gifts? With how uncharitably Birdie has been so far while describing these stories, I wouldn't be shocked if it's just because he had actually spent more each time he mentioned the number. After all, there are 3
I don't know if I should watch the rest of this because I feel like I've given enough commentary so far, but it's also like we still have a whole fucking hour left.
By the way, just to be clear, I haven't actually...
So... should I keep watching this, or are you guys more interested in the 2-hour-long Saber Spark video? Whoa! Because I have already, like, covered this shit before, and it seems like I'm not exactly going to agree with Lord Crust's fucking opinions and some things, because he doesn't seem to have a, you know, understanding of some things. Keep watching, period. Saberspark. Okay, hold on. We'll do a poll, okay? We'll do a fucking poll. Hold up. Hold up. How do I start a poll? All right, hold up. Do we keep watching? Yes or no? No. Come on. I think with how much you've delved into the Birdie things, you should get into the Saber video. Okay, yeah, I think I've already given enough context and shit like that, especially with the more recent shit. Don't tie the poll. You guys are fucking evil. No, because we already know most stuff. Okay, GoatCatto, they are both equally terrible. Okay, well, this one's also more recent. You know what? We're gonna watch Saber Spark. Ooh, okay. It's putting me to sleep. Okay. I'm not watching this. Okay, come on. So now we are on to the I love Kim Possible a lot Saber Spark shit, right? Yay! I'm so happy. I'm so fucking excited, okay? I haven't watched this video at all. I watched this entire video. It was hell. I watched the Saberspark video so much, it's so bad.
For all ages and should only be viewed by viewers 18 or older due to the nature of the content discussed and the discussion of sexual predators on the internet.
Okay, hold on. Okay, I actually have to like go bathroom really quickly. Okay. I'll still be here. But hold on. Okay, hold on. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Hold on. AFK. I will be right back. I'll be right back. My bladder's gonna fucking kill me though. Wait, did you guys hear me fucking yell? What the fuck? Dude, that's like evil. How can you hear that? I thought my... Dude, that's like fucked up. Why is it that when I'm on the toilet and I fucking grunt, y'all can hear me? When I'm on the toilet, y'all can hear me, but whenever I'm like close to my mic, they're like, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Like, bro. You should look at the 29:40 minute mark on this video. It's so bad. Okay, hold on. 29:40. Hold on, let me turn my epic, awesome background music off, okay? Hold up.
Sorry, yo. If that all isn't a big deal, then child grooming is bad, right? And that's shady at best. Here are the screen caps. These are great. I guess you can be Jerry Seinfeld, who dated a 17-year-old when he was 38.
Hello? What the fuck is this?
So, what are you gonna do later?
I got a date with Nikki.
Oh, yeah, she's a beauty.
And she's also 17.
Bold and
Why are we doing this? Okay, let's just get to the start of the fucking video. Oh my god.
Named in this video.
Hello, viewers. Welcome to another segment of Maybe the Internet Was a Big Fucking Mistake.
Big mistake. Big. Huge.
On a more serious note,
Dude.
this video covers sexual gratification as well as general sexual harassment. And it's a very depressing story. If you're
What
a
is
kid
with
who
the
somehow got
memes?
past the age
And the
restriction,
stock
please
images
go away
and
now.
shit. What the fuck?
Just go. Now, I don't like covering these stories. We're an animation channel. We cover very important stuff like Disney and not Disney things sometimes. But I like to think of myself like the Jon Stewart of the YouTube animation community. I call things out when I feel like I can add something to the conversation. And it's important to talk about when YouTubers are misusing their platform. So what's the no fun situation? Because I hate it here.
I don't want to be alive anymore.
Wow.
I've chosen not to keep
Amusing
this person
shit.
anonymous because I believe this is not a mistake or a slip of the tongue. This is an active attempt of slander and
It's mostly
misogyny, and
memes.
that's
Okay, that's great. Guys, there's like a grooming and a sex pest allegations against this person.
just not acceptable.
Look at my funny gif. My funny gif. Like, okay.
Also, this incident wasn't freely admitted to me. I had to have someone else tell me that this was going on in a professional setting.
And he couldn't even tell me himself.
Why are you crediting like the fucking clips too? This feels like, dude, video essay, right? Why are you citing your sources for your fucking meme clips? It's so fucking weird. 20th Century Fox 2013.
Chris was a team member roughly from 2014 to 2015. I know, I'm old. Chris was generally a nice guy in my time knowing him, but he exhibited weird behavior. Like, you just draw this for your boss,
What
right?
the fuck is that?
If memory serves, there's also a nude version.
That's disgusting.
I'm okay. Maybe I'm just like really fucking autistic and shit, but like, what the fuck is going on?
Like the Jon Stewart of the YouTube animation community, I call things
Saber Spark doesn't come up in this video until over an hour in. Okay. Is this? What's the fucking timestamp? Because this is ass.
Yes, thank you.
So there's 3 players in this Shakespearean tragedy.
What the
Chris,
fuck is
a
happening?
former member of my production team who made up this gross story about me. His first boss, DA Games, a YouTube channel run by Will Ryan.
Which
and
one
his
is it?
second boss, another YouTuber named...
Where the fuck? What the fuck? Okay, hold on. You know what? Cheating. Okay. Saber victim testimony, Gabe segment. Okay. I'm so fucking confused.
In my next segment.
Okay, here we go. All right, we found the Saber part. Shut up.
I became a fan of Saber Spark when I was in high school when I found his essay titled Ballad of the Brony in 2011.
Ballad of the
After graduating
Brony?
and turning 18, I added him on Skype to tell him I was a big fan of his. He added me back almost instantly, and we had a conversation ending with him giving me his phone number, which was a really big deal to me at the time since this was the first time interacting with any sort of celebrity. I had developed a parasocial crush on him due to being starstruck, which was something he was aware of. We would talk on Skype and text each other semi-frequently leading up to the first time meeting him. In 2012,
Is there any like screenshots of the Skype stuff? I haven't really watched any of this, so I'm wondering if there is like any evidence of him knowing that this person was like a fan, a huge fan.
This was my first time ever traveling by myself and was soon after the two of us became friends. When I met up with him in person, he invited me to his hotel room and he showed me the video he was editing on his laptop, causing me to internally geek out.
There is no evidence, just testimony. Okay, testimony or not. Okay, I get it, you know. Speak your truth, talk about what happens, but I feel like when you're gonna make a fucking video about this, there should be more substance to the allegations rather than just, well, this person said this happened.
I was
Okay.
really nervous being alone in
Cool.
a hotel with someone I was a
Did we
huge
not
fan
learn
of
from the Quite
and
situation?
had a crush on, but I tried to play it cool. He was 4 to 5 years older than me, making me feel more
There's no evidence, despite KP saying there would be. Okay,
nervous and
where
out of
is
place.
it, bruh?
He would bring
Where
up
is
the
it?
prospects of the two of us dating and how it didn't feel right for us to do so. After that, he almost immediately initiated making out with me and guided me to his bed. In this moment, he did not directly ask me for consent. I was thrown onto his bed and he would insert himself into me. Saber Spark was also significantly larger than me.
He would also bring up the prospects of the two of us dating and how it didn't feel right or for us to do so, and then we fucked. Like, what?
As I was an 80-something pound 18-year-old girl, so I physically could not stop him. I felt extremely nervous and uncomfortable because I had never experienced having any sort of sexual intimacy with someone I was not dating before, much less someone I just met.
Yeah, I heard that Chris Chan was in the chat and shit like that. Literally, all that's in this video is them reading the testimony from Twitter and them discussing
Very
consent.
new to
Oh,
meeting
great.
people online.
Okay, that's gonna be fun because
At
I
that
know a lot
moment,
about
I laid there
consent and how it can be implied, how people can like overstep and shit like that. I'm the consent master. I ignore consent. Actually,
Associating, as I felt
well,
very wrong while trying
no,
to
I don't.
rationalize it in my head to convince myself it was a safe and normal encounter. He rushed off to clean and finish himself and came back to the bed and offered me a handshake, saying, "Friends, this."
I'm sorry, but this shit actually killed me when I first heard about the testimony through the Ace and shit like that, where it's all like, yeah, I just essentially raped you. Friends? 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 That part is just like odd to me, honestly.
Caused me for the rest
I'm not
of the
gonna say
event
whether
to-
this is fake or not. I'm not gonna say if it's real, if it's fake, whatever. It's just testimony. I find it odd that there's no evidence aside from this, despite apparently KP saying there would be. So I'm a little bit confused on that. And once again, it's why I think, you know, maybe they should have waited before releasing this video or something so they could get like all of their ducks in a row that support the story and shit like that.
to feel that I was taken advantage.
Because, like, yes, obviously, like, you know, this is why I don't like talking about, like, rape situations and shit like that, because, like, a lot of people will say, oh, no evidence, it didn't happen. I'm saying that it could have happened, it could have not happened. I don't know, I'm not going to dictate that. But if there is apparently more evidence than just testimony, why not display that? Because that could help,
and ashamed of
you know?
myself for not trying to stop the interaction. Though I tried pretending I was fine to everyone around me, I was and still am demisexual.
Saber's
and
comments are
put
being
in that
consistently wiped of every time someone says something, though, which is a bit interesting with the silence. The victim also did say that they got the dates wrong in a reply to me. Oh.
position was not something I wanted. I maintained the friendship until a second occurrence happening at a completely different PonyCon in 2013. This time we met in a public space, but had no one around and talked for a while. He kept bringing up the prospects of us starting a relationship.
Also, I'm sorry, but, like, obviously, you know, this guy was on fucking Brody Reacts and shit like that. I think Saber might be a little bit socially inept, like all of us, and shit like that. I'm not picking at the victim at all. I'm just picking at, like, how fucking awkward it is to have sex and then just be like, friends? Offering a fucking handshake, and then the whole grabbing your hand and being like, it feels so right today, but so wrong. Like, it feels like theater kid stuff. It's odd.
But how it felt wrong. He would grab my hand saying how it felt so right, only to push my hand away saying, but so wrong.
It felt so right, but so wrong. Like, Saber, what are you
Crush on
doing?
him was something I needed to get over because I felt that my emotions were being toyed with. He then suggested going to a more public space around others, and we went into the elevator to go up to the lobby of the PonyCon hotel. As soon as the door closed, Saber Spark forcefully shoved me against the wall and shoved his tongue down my throat. It scared me and actually hurt.
I also don't understand men and how they can be so fucking horny sometimes. Like, what do you mean you're in an elevator with somebody and then you're like, oh, I know we're at a con right now, but I can't. I just can't contain myself. Like, are you okay?
Triggering.
Sounds like something he would do. Listen, man, I don't know the guy. I think he's odd in general. I used to be a fan of his content, but I kind of just, like, died off from watching it. It's just like, holy shit, this guy, if this is true, this guy very obviously has no fucking social awareness. Like, in what world do you just, like, slam somebody against the fucking wall It reads like a fanfic, but I do kind of believe the victim. I just think we can do anything if there's no proof. Yes! Oh my god, I'm not the only person who fucking says this. Okay, thank god. It does seem a little bit fanfiction-y, but that could also be because the victim's like autistic or whatnot and they're I don't know. There's like this is a fucking onion, okay? There's layers to this. Layers as to why he might have acted like that. Layers to, you know, the whole like truth of it all. And layers as to why it's worded the way it's worded. And then of course we've got the fucking Courtney and fucking KP. I love Kim Possible a lot. There's layers to those people as well. It's just fucking, this is messy, okay? One messy fucking group of onions. Like,
once
fucking
again,
hell.
he did not ask for consent when throwing me into this situation. Once the doors opened and people were present, this led me to feel very...
This is what happens when someone who doesn't get any finally hits. Yeah, that...
He got off me and took my hand and guided me towards the stairs to go back down to where we just were and into a men's restroom where he pulled his pants down and guided my hands and head.
I bet it fucking smelled.
To perform oral sex on.
I'm sorry, but like... Not trying to poke fun at this, but like I'm picturing being taken downstairs to the fucking bathroom to do shit like this, and it's just no.
I was afraid of denying him because of past experiences with sexual assault, so
also I get the fear of saying no and shit like that, especially if somebody's, you know, manipulated you or hurt you in the past and stuff like that. I am not trying to victim blame. I'm not saying, oh, why didn't you speak up or whatever, but I feel like if you're genuinely uncomfortable with a situation, which like I understand, you know, freezing up and you know, not giving any implied consent. I don't know if any consent was given here. It just sounds like he kind of forced himself onto her and stuff like that, but I feel like once again, not to blame. I completely get it. I've been in this situation before where like you freeze up, you don't know what to do, you're breaking down inside, so you say yes anyways, like shit like that, right? I get it. I've been there, done that. But I feel like also, cause like I said, I'm not one to fucking talk. I've done the same shit, but I feel like I don't know. Was there anything implied that you didn't want to engage with them or him sexually and stuff like that? That's what I'm curious about. Like, were there any social cues that he ignored? Were there any, like, cues given? Or was it just, like, you know, he did all this and you didn't have time to react? That's what I'm trying to figure out because I don't know anything. I don't know the details, all right? And I'm trying to word this in a way that's not going to make people think that I'm, like, a victim blamer because I am not a fucking victim blamer. It's just, this is very confusing, and I'm trying to understand, like, both sides, okay? Because there are both sides to this, all right? Yes, believe all victims, but you also have to be mindful of the other person's side, too, all right? You can be violated, but Saber couldn't have known that she didn't want it when she went along with it without saying no, I guess. I don't know. There's this whole thing about enthusiastic consent. If somebody is freezing up and not giving any of, like, you know, the same energy that you're giving them when you're initiating something intimate, then that should be a sign, obviously, you know, that, hey, she doesn't want to do it. Maybe I should stop. Maybe I should ask if it's okay, etc., etc. So that's just like another thing. I don't know.
Apologized profusely and then offered the same
I only started learning about like consent and rules and shit after I was 18 and all that shit happened. I was like, oh,
I was fine,
that's not okay.
I had slowly begun pulling away from Saber Spark. I cried that night while staying with a friend, but waited for that friend to fall asleep so no one could hear me, and I would cry for months, feeling ashamed of myself for putting myself in a compromising situation with someone I hardly knew. I had always felt taken advantage of by him, and tried being friendly and pretending nothing was wrong because it was all I knew how to do. I would blame myself for the interactions for years, only opening up to a few close people, questioning if consent was implied because of my crush, and unwillingness and fear to outright stop the advances.
Okay, so you were unwilling to stop the advances because you were uncomfortable. However, I'm kind of confused.
Because of how uncomfortable I felt. I understand that there is a possibility that he felt consent was implied.
So you didn't say no, you didn't, like... What? Questioning if consent was implied because of my crush and unwillingness and fear to outright try to stop the advances because of how uncomfortable I felt. Okay.
Because he knew I had a crush on him. However, he did not once ask for consent directly and was instead thrown into these sexual encounters, usually very suddenly. There were no discussions about the power dynamic between us as a popular content creator and a fan at any time. In my parasocial connection to him and not—
There were no discussions about the power dynamic between us as a popular content creator and fan at any time. My parasocial connection to him and not wanting someone I was a fan of to hate me if I rejected him, leaving me afraid to stop it. I'm so fucking confused. Okay, so, like, you can't say that he knows that he has power over you if you guys have never talked about it, or he's never said anything to fucking... I don't know. I really don't know.
Not wanting someone I was a fan of to hate me if I rejected him, leaving me afraid to stop his advances. Over time, I grew increasingly distant and would eventually—
Like I said, this is very confusing because it's all like, oh yeah, there's like a whole power dynamic, but he didn't know about the power dynamic. Like, what's happening?
End contact completely.
Once again, not to pick at, I'm just like confused myself. This is a very confusing situation.
Don't feel
And like
safe
somebody in
enough
the
to
chat
fully
said, it's not something that's just black and white. Like, yeah, you did this, and we have to agree with that. Or, oh, she did this, or she didn't do that. Like,
bored because I don't want his fans and friends, or even him, to harass or contact me publicly. I wish to stay anonymous so I can avoid the anxiety and—
I also want to know what their DMs are like, in all honesty. Because, like I said, not trying to pick, but I want to know the dynamic they had. Because this person talks about how she and Saber were in contact and friends and stuff like that. If this guy is suddenly being, like, you know, trying to be intimate with you, a normal person, unless they're, like, you know, a rapist, which, like, we still don't know Saber's side, so we can't say that he is or isn't or whatever, right? I don't know what led up to this. What was their dynamic like? Was there anything flirty, anything sexual in the DMs? Was it normal? Did he, like, do all this romantic and, you know, sexual shit to you just off the bat with no context, no prior experience, no chatting about anything lewd of the sort? Like, that, it's confusing. Victim said DMs were deleted because, Skype, by the way, I don't know what that says. Yeah, Skype, by the way, and that she threw away all her con badges. Okay.
Stress of being targeted by either him, his friends, and especially his
very messy
fans. As Saber Spark has over 2 million subscribers, and even sharing my story at all has me feeling really afraid. I have seen other instances of Saber Spark using his enormous platform to confront—
I'm also wondering if there's anything, you know, done to report this to the proper authorities rather than the internet. I don't know anything about this. This video so far hasn't given me any context or information as to what they did before coming to KP and other people. And I know, like, they're probably gonna be like, oh, well, it was like, they're like 30 years old and it happened when they were 18. It was in 2012. Yes, but police, from what I know, what I experienced, you can still make a report on something that happened ages ago, unless there's, like, some sort of, like, legal thing that hinders you from being able to do that, like maybe an expiration or whatever the fuck it's called. I forgot the fucking term for it. Blah, 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 blah. I don't know. Just, I have a lot of questions, okay?
Conflict with. I have also witnessed several instances of his friends attempting to justify him and others' actions. I
understand, like, you know, not wanting to go to the police and shit like that, because sometimes the police don't do anything. I'm just curious as to, like, what her plan of action was before going to these people. Statute of limitation. You have to remember Saber is very messy. He will most likely brush this off or make a video insinuating the people he has done this in other dramas he's been in. Yeah, I don't know. Statute of limitations. Okay, yeah, so that's the thing. They said they were deleted from Skype. Skype shut down and everything. They didn't go to the police. Okay. Crust, I would have kept some of the proof if it existed. I mean, I understand, you know, throwing away the con badges, like, you know, that was a traumatic experience. You probably, most likely don't want any reminders of it. I know we have photos and stuff like that of the 2012 con, I think. I don't really remember. But, yeah. I don't know. It's sad.
Privacy to be respected.
It's just...
I don't wish to publicly defend my personal experience and just wish to share my experience.
So welcome to the video where we break this down a little bit more and talk about what is consent, because, yeah, it's an important discussion here. So because this is a really serious conversation, and I know almost nothing about sexual assault,
I know nothing about sexual assault, but for the remainder of the video, we're going to be talking about consent and implied consent.
I invited Courtney again. She's all over this video to talk about like what is consent and when consent is there and when it's not there.
Dude, no way.
We're having a great time here at the worst video ever, and
What
just
the
kind of
fuck
break
is
it
this?
down so we have a better understanding. And all you nerds out there, don't do something really, really bad like this. Don't do it, guys.
Don't rape. Don't do it.
Hi again, Courtney. Welcome. You'll be in the video everywhere at this point.
Hello, everybody. It is I. I have returned once again. So happy to be here.
So I've shown you the testimony at this point. What are your general vibes on it besides icky and sad and I don't know. This is just like
yeah, rape icky,
super triggering to
icky
me.
and sad. No shit, dude. Amazing commentary.
Yeah, so I thought I'd also bring you in
Lily
there,
Orchard's
bring you in
sister,
here to
yeah,
hold my hand
Courtney.
during this, but yeah.
In terms of the testimony, it's just kind of heartbreaking, really. It's always heartbreaking to me when people question their own sexual assault just because of the lack of education around it. And like, something that I just want to say to anybody out there is a consensual sexual encounter is never something you're going to question afterwards. Okay? Like, you just don't question a consensual encounter. Sure, you may have a consensual encounter that's...
You might have, like, regrets about consensual encounters and shit like that.
unsatisfying. You may have one that you regret, that you may look back on one and go, if I could make that decision again, I probably wouldn't. But people don't question consensual sexual experiences with, did I just get violated? To be quite honest.
Kitty.
And like, the other thing that kind of breaks my heart is there's one point in her testimony where she questions, if I'm remembering this correctly, that like maybe she was at fault because she had a crush on him, like maybe she gave the wrong signal or something, maybe she implied something, or he thought consent was implied because he knew there was a crush on her. Like, in all honesty, consent is never implied. Like, even secure, confident
consent
individuals...
is never implied.
Okay.
All right. Listen, buddy. Consent is never implied. Most of the time, unless you're like a virgin and you have autism and shit like that, and I say this because I can't out my ex, okay? I can't out my ex. But most of the time, they're not gonna be like, do you want to have sex with me? When you're both in the fucking mood. Sorry, that just seems kind of funny. You like walk up to somebody and you're like, can I shove my dick inside of your vagina or your butthole? It's so fucking funny. Thanks for the 99 cents. But if the whole oh, it's never implied. What if you and this dude go out on a date? You go to Chili's, all right? You're eating a hot dog, and you're sitting over here, and you're like, God, that hot dog looks so good. I want this guy's hot dog. You guys go in the car. You wait until everybody leaves the parking lot. You look at each other, you turn, you kiss. You fucking kiss each other, and you start to get handsy and stuff like that, right? You're both starting to touch and feel, touchy-feel. Base 1, base 2, base 3, right? That is implied consent. You lead up to the thing. You're not going, hey, do you want to have sex? No. That's not how it works.
Sexual encounter will check in with their partner as things escalate and change gears, and they'll say things like, are you okay? Should we keep going? Is this good? Like, because
I don't like the fact that I know this shit. Fucking
consent
how.
is not...
I was raped by my partner. I did not say I consent to sexual intercourse at the specific date, time, location. Yeah. Thank you for the 5, but I'm sorry that happened to you. Also, here's another thing I'd like to talk about. Just because you guys initiate and you're doing the do, sometimes the other person, it can be painful, or they suddenly get like a fucking flashback, or something happens to where the other person doesn't want to do it anymore. That's when the communication should be clear, and you be all like, hey, you know, I understand that we're doing this thing. Goat, you're autistic. That was a joke. I was raped by my partner. I did not say I consent. Oh, shit. My bad. Fuck. I am pretty autistic. I'm sorry. Okay. I forgot what I was trying to fucking say. Oh my god. If you're doing the do and your partner gets visibly uncomfortable, that's when you should check in and, you know, you guys can stop, all right? Y'all don't have to keep going. I don't know. I think it depends because some people find the asking romantic, but others think it's a mood killer. It depends on what you guys have established and shit like that, you know? Me personally, I can't make moves on anybody because I'm fucking scared. All right? I'm scared. I can never initiate. Fucking,
Something
hi,
that is
what's
implied.
Up?
It's
yeah, no, it's
never
just like,
something
messy,
that's
gross,
implied.
gross, messy. Goat, if I was raped, I wouldn't still be dating the... My bad, bro. My bad.
It's not, you know, an absence of a no is not a yes in any regard. An absence of resistance is not compliance. And even in that regard, compliance is not an invitation.
Mm-hmm. Because this girl had a crush on Saber.
I'm kind of confused. So, complying with the sexual stuff is not an invitation. But the thing is, how's the other person going to realize that if you're not making it clear to them that you do not want this, you are not comfortable? Like, the body language, facial expression, just words, anything. I'm kind of... And once again,
It
not
was
to
okay
pick at
that
it.
he just
Not to
kind of
pick at it.
initiated
But I'm kind of...
things. And then especially, too, in the elevator.
A little confused.
In a public space when he's just much larger than her, like, physically. I don't know. It's all icky, but, like, what would you define consent as? And when would you define, like, obviously this isn't it, for sure, but go ahead.
And in terms of, like, a definition of consent and what it is and what it isn't, consent is an excited yes. Consent is...
Affirmative consent means yes is the only way to consent. Saying nothing does not mean you've given consent. Okay. Yeah, you don't need to make a whole lesson out of it's just is this okay? Fine. You shouldn't really expect someone to be okay with something to avoid this. That's not giving you a chance to say no. That's like, oh my god. I'm gonna go insane. I don't know what to say on this. Oh my god.
Exuberant.
Somebody who begins initiating sexual contact without first discussing boundaries or asking what you'd like to do may hope you'll just go along with what they want to do. Maybe they even wake you up for sex, disrupting your sleep. Yeah, it does depend on the fucking situation. What about C and C? Okay? I'm gonna kill my...
what's the word I'm looking for?
This is like...
payback, for lack of a better term, I guess. Like...
Respectful person will probably notice from your body language that you feel uncomfortable. Obviously not making any excuses for abusers or some shit, but like some people may not realize. Oh my god.
Two people in a consent...
It also depends on what's been communicated prior. Also, yeah. That and also like the mood, what you guys have been doing, what you guys are like, you know, are you guys making out? Are you guys feeling, getting touchy-feely? Like, why am I talking about this?
Encounter, engage in a give and take. Like, it's never just one person doing all of the action and the other person just laying there like a bump on a log. You know, it's an action that two people engage in when it's consensual. 9 times out of 10, when it's one person just using another person's body for sexual gratification, that's not a consensual encounter. That is just a violation of somebody's person. And it's actually pretty common for like sexual aggressors to attack somebody like in a innocuous sort of sense, like in the elevator, especially at like a convention or something like that in public, because it sort of dissuades the target or the victim from actually saying anything.
There's nuance to these sexual
because,
situations.
like, half the time
yeah, the build up, the mood, what you guys have discussed doing, blah 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 blah. I'm gonna cut.
We'll think, well, this is being done in public. Surely somebody's gonna say something.
When you say the word that stops the acts and they ignore it, that's rape. Having a CNC kink where you do not say the discussed and agreed safe word is not rape. Yeah. It's not so black and white. People might think you've implied that you were okay with it, and in that sense, they don't think they violated you. It's so nuanced. It's just
so
like,
I don't have to, but the other part of them
I feel
doesn't.
like they're messing up the person's thing because, like, the way they're explaining consent is making the person's testimony looks bad and feels bad to me. They accidentally are.
Want to cause a scene and be embarrassed because they're already embarrassed by the fact that they're being attacked, the fact that PDA in general.
We're looking at the Saber Spark shit from I Love Kim Possible a Lot, Gilded. Hold on, my cat's being naughty. Hey, 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 buddy. Hey, buddy. Don't do that, alright? Kitty, kitty, kitty. You're being evil. Okay. Oh, we're back. Hi. Okay.
Was seen as like a sort of cringy, embarrassing thing. And like they don't want to draw more attention to themselves, especially while they're dealing with the fact that they're being attacked. And part of them just hopes that somebody's going to do it anyway.
I feel like doing sexual things in public needs to be talked about beforehand. Yeah. It's pretty uncomfortable to, I speak from experience, have somebody just suddenly grab you and start doing stuff or talking about doing sexual stuff to you without you even being aware that that's what they were intending on doing. Because that can be pretty fucking weird. Pretty scary, right?
Say something anyway. And the problem with the general public is they sort of fall into the someone else will deal with it mentality, whereas everybody sort of assumes that somebody else is going to step in and say something, so they therefore then won't.
Well, the other thing I wanted to throw in there too is nothing that's illegal, but kind of the parasocial relationship of like, you know, it's always, it seems like it's a common thing where like, you know, back in the day rock stars would sleep with their groupies kind of thing, but now it's kind of more discussed that that's a power dynamic that shouldn't really be abused.
Okay, I'm gonna sound very anti-woke, whatever the hell, right? A lot of groupies did want to sleep with the fucking rock star, okay? Oh, well, the rock star has more power over them. Okay, if you are willingly having sex with somebody who has some level of power or importance or a fucking YouTube channel or a music career, whatever, unless they are using that and holding it over your head to be like, I'm gonna do this to you and you can't say no because, oh my god, I'm gonna do this to you and you can't say no and you can't tell anybody because I'm so-and-so, I have this many subs, this many fans, whatever, and I can ruin your life.
And especially when you don't really know someone in person, you know, like, from the testimony, this is her.
And also, like, when it comes to groupies and shit like that, they wouldn't want to fuck the rock star if the rock star didn't have that influence, wasn't popular, wasn't any of this, any or that. Like, they're attracted to the person for a fucking reason. Like, it's so stupid.
The first time in person with Saber. And he immediately jumps, not immediately, but he pretty much immediately jumps
Power
on.
dynamic argument is dumb. If I were female and I could blow my boss for a raise, I would, let alone a rock star for tickets.
So that also kind of gave me a big ick. Any thoughts on that?
And one other thing I wanted to add in is that, you know, confident individuals in a sexual encounter don't have to assume that consent is there. Because they will.
This is also the other thing about like relationships, how some people like they'll have a normal toxic relationship with somebody and be like, and they're a YouTuber and they use this to force me into a relationship, and then they don't have any proof of that. That shit drives me fucking crazy. Yeah, I sexted this YouTuber, and I was scared to say no because he was a big YouTuber, and it's just like, dude, you're like 21. What are you doing? He's not saying you have to sext me or I'm gonna have my fans harass you and I'm gonna blackmail you. Like, please stop using the power dynamic shit if there's no instances of the power being used to victimize somebody or keep them silent. It's so fucking stupid, okay? Obviously, in my opinion, I don't think you should fuck your fans or, you know, date your fans because that's a whole parasocial bag of fucking worms that I wouldn't want to get into personally. You can if you want, just don't use your power to abuse people. That's just like, that's the bottom line with most things in fucking general. Like, come on.
Ask. And to be honest, the only time you're not asking or checking for consent is because you know yourself that the yes is not there. And you don't want to hear the no, so you will not ask. Okay? Because if you think consent is complied and you think the person that is, you know, on the other end of it is actively participating, if you know the answer is going to be yes, then what do you have to lose by just asking?
So would this mean that I was raped for having consensual part? Oh my god. Would this, fucking hell. Okay. So would you claim that I got raped because me and my ex-boyfriend were both fucking drunk? Not the actual rapist one. I'm talking about the most recent one. By the way, we both get drunk. We're both feeling it. You know, we do the do. There's no specific. Do you want to have sex with me or wanna fuck? It just happens. Does that mean it was rape? No. Fucking hell.
And being a responsible individual.
Going on the opposite extreme of the spectrum, next person I date is gonna have to be the most chronically offline hermit in the world. Oh
when
my
it
God.
comes to sexual practice and just asking. And the difference between, like, rock stars sleeping with groupies comes down to, like, literally consent. Like, there's a big difference between, you know, the chick who's going...
Depending on how drunk you are, it could be considered rape, but that's not every single situation. Yeah, like, if you're both actually, like, consenting to it, and you're in a relationship already anyways, that's just, like... Also, ignore Raven. Raven's joking. They're probably gonna be like, I'm not joking, but Raven's fucking joking.
To see the rock star perform and, like, flashing her titties while he's performing, and then going and flashing her titties to the bouncer to get backstage, and then flashing her titties in the rock star's face, probably making out with him a bit of her own volition, and one of them saying, hey, let's go back and sleep in the van. Like, there are multiple instances where consent is very, very clearly given by the groupie sleeping with the rock star. And, like, yeah, there may be a certain power dynamic, and, like, there absolutely is.
The youngest alleged victim was 18, but most of the women were in their 20s when the alleged sexual assaults occurred, while Guyman was in his 40s or older, with one exception in which a woman claims the writer forcibly kissed her in 1986. Some of the women were fans, and a few worked with him at the time. Okay.
Multiple instances of rock stars abusing that to be like, hey, well, I'm famous, show me your titties. But there's a big difference between going, hey, I'm famous, show me your titties, and someone going, I'm showing you my titties because I want to sleep with you. Right? Like, just the act of, like, basically showing you my titties is...
I'm confused myself, Spark. What the fuck?
In most circumstances, an invitation to touch my body.
Why are we talking about consent instead of you guys talking in depth about Saber Spark and other things that he's done? Anything to, like, you know...
Okay.
I don't get the point of this, okay?
In no way is, I'm a big fan of yours, an invitation to touch somebody's body. And I also find it really, really weird that this dude meets a fan, gets the inkling she has a crush on him, so he invites her back to his hotel room.
Yes, women that show me their boobs are all uninterested in sex with me. Makes sense. If you're showing... Oh my god. Unless it's like a fucking joke or some shit, and you've made it clear that, you know, you're not actually wanting anything sexual from the person, you're just fucking around, alright? Depending on the context in which you're flashing somebody your fucking genitals or, like, grabbing them or some shit, most of the time people are gonna take that as, like, a sexual, like, invitation, okay? Now, obviously, if you try to make an advance and the person says, stop, then you should stop and shit like that. But with men, especially men, if a chick shows their fucking tits to them randomly because they're a rock star, they're gonna be like, oh, this chick wants to fucking bang. This chick wants to fucking bang, bro. I'm gonna hit that fine vagina. Like, they're automatically gonna fucking think that. It just depends on, like, what you do after. Like, if you guys do get physical, if you're saying, hey, stop, and they're not stopping, that's rape. However, if you're flashing them your fucking tits and kissing up on them and continuing to be, like, you know, sexual and weird, they're gonna see that as an invitation to keep fucking going. It isn't until you make it. I give up. I'm tired.
Okay, like, getting invited back to the hotel room has sexual connotations, and the fact that she didn't realize that just shows how naive she was, and the fact that none of that was communicated, because clearly he knew what he was inviting her back to the hotel room for, but she didn't. And that just gives me, like, the major ick, to be quite honest, because, like,
this gave me the ick. This shit gives me the ick.
It's really as if Saber is acting like he's Gene Simmons inviting you back to, you know, the hotel room, when in reality he's a pudgy brony YouTuber showing you his animations before he shows you his dick. Like, that's not the same thing at all.
Like, do you think there was some kind of weird parasocial dynamic too, that she felt uncomfortable, you know, advocating for herself because, like, oh, this is the real Saberspark TM, like, I don't want to feel like, you know, he might say something on Twitter, you know, blast me publicly, like, is there pressure, just generally speaking, when...
What was their relationship like in general with the friendship? That's why I keep fucking talking about this. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Tell me the dynamic.
Of course she would have
Tell
felt
me what they were like
uncomfortable
leading up to this.
herself. Like,
please.
Most fans don't get to meet their
bro.
idol in person. So meeting your idol in person is already a very... like, exalted sort of...
I get it. Oh my god, it's my idol. Oh my god, he's so lucky. I'm so lucky to have this person paying attention to me. I get that. But these people were friends, apparently, all right? I want to know what the dynamic was like, what they talked about, if there was anything sexual, any flirty, anything like that,
that's something
okay?
most fans dream of but never actually get to.
And then,
so
like,
once you put a fan in
the fact that allegedly Saber talks about, you know, the victim and him starting a relationship and how it feels so wrong but feels so right, but alas, pushes your hand away. I cannot. There's something there, but they're not.
Situation where they're meeting their idol in person, something they dreamed, probably never thought would happen.
And I'm not even talking on the victim. I'm talking on
no
these
fan
fucking
is
people.
going to do something that's going to jeopardize that, and that includes
victim's not in the wrong.
offending their idol. And like, the idol knows that, and for like anybody to sit there and be like, well, you know, what if so and so wasn't aware of the power dynamic? Like, they always know. You can always tell. You can always feel it. You can tell when somebody is fangirling, and to.
You could argue that that's true, but there's also people who just have normal crushes in general, which can be confused with fangirling. Or people who are just overly excited and happy.
Like, for someone who's going to sit there and prey on that and be like, well,
and
I know you're not going to
it's
say
like,
no to me, or at least give me a hard boundary that could possibly offend me, so I'm going to exploit that by asking things of you that I know you wouldn't say yes to in any other situation. And, like, to be quite honest, no fan is going to do anything. Most fans are not going to do anything other than fall into line with that. Because again, they're getting to an exalted status of getting to meet their idol in person. You know, they've been a fan of this person, they've done art for this person, they've dreamed of meeting this person. They're not going to jeopardize that by offending that person by saying no.
Mm-hmm. And not that those relationships can't happen, but it's very tricky.
If you say no because you're a fan of, if you don't say no because you're a fan of somebody, that's still not rape. The power dynamic. They are not making you say yes. If they are, that's rape. If you tell them no and they continue anyways, that's fucking rape. I understand it, but it's not entirely fair on the other person for you to be like, yeah, I said yes, but it was because I was a fan. This guy actually raped me. Oh, come on. Dude, they act like a random fan, but they were long-term friends. Amazing stuff.
As far as, you know, establishing and acknowledging the power dynamic and discussing it before, like, even anything were to happen. But I don't know,
Raven, you're not white. Shut up.
Whole MO has never really been to go date your fans, because, you know, it, like, your fans are not a dating pool. They're just...
Tell that to Birdie.
You know, they're there to consume your content. I don't know. It just ick. It's not technically illegal, but it just kind of ick to me.
My bad. I thought I was muted, honestly. Honestly, this whole situation seems like really fucking ick to me. Like, you shouldn't bang your fucking fans, alright? This whole thing, it's so ick. Like, oh my god. Oh my god, it was like, it gave me the fucking ick. It gave me the ick, the ick, the ick, the ick, the ick, the ick. Rape is like really icky and bad. No shit, Sherlock. Holy fucking shit, bruh. Like, okay, we get it. It gave me the ick. Oh my god. You, like, gave me an ick.
In terms of dating your fans, like, I don't know, I just kind of miss the days where it was considered just not kosher to date from your fan base. Like, that was considered poor form.
That was, like, not kosher? That was, like, not kosher at all.
Because, like, your fans aren't your peers, and I always question why, like, when somebody can't pull from their peers, like, why is it that you can't, like, land somebody and date somebody who's, like, on an even playing field with you?
Yeah, so I guess GoatCatto should only fucking date people who have 16,300 fucking subscribers, dude. My dating pool is fucked. I don't get to have any pussy, any play, any dick, nothing. This sucks. Man. I can't do this. Nobody's in my fucking dating pool. Except for, well, no, not even Brian Mullins the Fox. He's only 12,000. He's only 12,000. He's only 12.
Why does there have to be a power imbalance? And that's always, like, the trend with these types. Like, if you look at, like, most of their relationships, there's always a power imbalance. And if you have a track record of having a power imbalance in your relationships, what is wrong with you? Like, why do you need to have a one-up on somebody in order to be in a relationship with them? Like, you need therapy.
Yeah, it's so fun here. I think that's it, Courtney, unless you have anything else to add. Like, anything else you want to add that you remember from the testimony that you want to...
Date morale. Where even is that bitch, bro? Where is he? Not Gamma. Fuck you. Okay, Morale live. Okay, come on. I can't do that. See, Morale is small. Okay? And if I were to date Morale, despite him having, you know, his big fucking Morale commentary channel, right? You see, I would end up being the groomed one, okay? I'd be groomed. I'm only 16. He's 27. That's rape. Alright. This guy's grooming me, okay?
Want to comment on?
If you question if it's a violation, it probably was. If you feel violated, that was not consent. Your feelings...
What if he shoves... Okay, I'm not gonna say that.
Feelings matter.
Never mind.
Your feelings are valid. Consent is never implied. Real men who get bitches ask for consent.
Oh my god. Like, pop off, girly boss. Oh my god, real men ask for consent. Obviously, real men fucking value consent, respect it, but holy fucking shit.
I guess that's it.
This is like an epic roast for all the boys. Fucking hell. Bro, I have never been verbally asked for consent in my life. My autistic ex asked me for like verbal consent. He was like, "Oh, do you want to take this further? Do you want to make out with me?" It was the funniest shit and like a genuine mood killer. But hey. Oh my god. It was so fucking weird.
What a good way to end the video. Not end the video, end the segment. What a good way to end the segment.
Part 5, why make this video? Unfortunately, this is insight about how content creators can
Raven,
respond.
stop lying on my fucking name. There are no minors in the 18 plus Discord server. This little whore doesn't know what he's talking about. Goat, you look scary when you stare at the camera. I can touch my eyeball, by the way, and like not blink, but I'm not gonna do that because I have like cookie crumbs on my fingers and shit like that. Anyways, the whole verbal consent or else it's rape thing seems to be a very millennial take, and I think it's more like more nuance has to be introduced since that concept was a novel one. Yeah, pretty much. Good god. Hi, kitty. Oh my god, it's Pewter. Pewter. Hello. Oh. Ooh. Ooh, come here. Come here. Yeah. Look at her. I'm 13. I'm 13. Tee. Okay, let's keep watching, alright? We're getting back into the juicy part.
To situations of sexual harassment and more damning incidents. It's important to talk about how this stuff isn't okay. And it's not something to make jokes out of. I personally shouldn't have to be talking about can respond to situations. Why make this video? Unfortunately, this is insight about how content creators can respond to situations of sexual harassment and more damning incidents.
No fucking way. No. Is she gonna say that there's a...
It's important to talk about how this stuff isn't okay. And it's not something to make jokes out of.
It's not something to make jokes out of. There's a bunch of memes. There's a bunch of fucking memes. Hey, stop messing with my knife. Get off the table, Pewter. You're being evil. Come on, I already fed you. Get your fat ass up. Oh, bro, you just knocked over my candle, bro. That's fucked up. Now quit that. Anyway, she talks about how, like, sexual assault allegations shouldn't be memed about and you should take them seriously. And then look. Memes, like every 5 fucking seconds. What are you talking about?
Sexualized or belittled because someone didn't get what they wanted.
You're doing it right here. What the fuck are you doing?
In a professional setting. The story and the other incidents are taken to an extreme. I should not have to fight with people to get justice for something.
Dude, this is so fucking millennial.
You shouldn't have to be sexualized.
Oh my god, I have a gift from Quasimodo.
Because someone didn't get what they wanted, and in a professional setting. The story and the other incidents are taken to an extreme. I should not have to fight with people to get justice for something like this, or for other victims. And especially on receiving responses when there only might be repercussions on the line. It's messed up, and I'm hoping this can be a learning experience for anyone who has ever made a nasty meme or taken something too far. Admitting it and apologizing without being prompted can go a long way, and thinking about possible consequences should be as well. Krish didn't just make up a bad story, he did some other unsavory stuff. Combined with the lack of action, when a groomer is in the DA game space, when there are children in there, is unacceptable. There is nothing bad or off-brand about kicking a pedophile out of your community and letting
I feel like KP is fat. She's not fat, okay?
Communities know. It also seems to me that
we're gonna look at Bernie's react in a minute because there's KP and Saber Spark in there, and also a pedophile.
To problematic behavior.
Black Griffin is in there too.
There will be confrontation involved. So if you don't like confrontation, maybe think twice about being a content creator. If you don't want so much responsibility,
these other content creators don't do their job by taking stuff seriously and they turn everything into a joke. Meanwhile, I'm gonna start spamming fucking memes and references every 30 seconds. Well, not even 30. That's way too much fucking time. Every 3 seconds. Wait, let me count.
Public spaces 18 plus. But even then, there still might be creeps.
3.
So I made a quick little guide. KP's guide to dealing with bad people in your community. Number 1. Listen to someone if they have a serious concern, and make sure they have screenshots if possible. And if you're too busy, get a mod team to help you with this. Number 2, if the screenshots are damning enough, skip step 3 and remove them from your space. Number 3, if there are no screenshots, confront the person with the issue stated and get their side of the story. Have others weigh in on the decision if it's a hard one. Number 4, make a Google Doc with problematic or unsafe behavior so it can be shared with other communities and this person can't prey on another fan group. Number 5, look out for name changes and general suspicious behavior, especially in fandom communities. All in all...
Okay, check out the thing at 1 hour and 7 minutes. Okay, hold up. I love how I can't even, like, get past fucking 7-8 seconds at least.
The support, guys. It's emotionally draining, but I feel like being critical of online spaces, especially when you try to solve things privately first, is important.
Were you able to contact Saber or anyone that currently works for him about Chris?
I contacted Saber through some friends in common. Never heard about an official firing, though.
I was never contacted by any friend of yours, nor did you ever make any attempt to reach out to me on your own behalf, via Twitter, email, or anywhere else. You are omitting so much information right now, but I'll provide some here in a sec under your original post.
Dude, we can talk privately. I have screenshots that I contacted both and.
Are you going to record the call without telling me the same
way
you did to Chris too?
Talk to me privately. I'm not doing this back and forth on Twitter.
Then don't at me with your half-truths and omitted information in order to gain sympathy and slander my name. I'm 100% to debunk every accusation in your video. I have no idea how you can claim due diligence when you never reached out to me.
Don't fucking talk to me like that. Don't call me a fucking liar when I have the screenshots to back me up. And if you're aware of the call, then the information got back to you regardless. If there was some decision made, I never heard about it. I'm ending this conversation.
So a couple of things to unpack here besides me not purposely tagging Steven. It was a third party.
Where's the meme?
Regardless, Steven proceeded to call me a liar
what the
publicly.
fuck?
You calling me a liar?
Oh,
I'm
no.
calling you a truther.
Proceeded to tease me about doing an unsolicited recording and to
Funny.
slander him.
Slander is spoken.
Fucking funny. Great.
Some
Funny.
red flags
Wow.
to this
Funny.
response.
Funny.
One, Steven could have calmly asked who I talked to instead of assuming the worst. 2, his anger was directed at me and not an employer, Chris himself. 3,
His anger was directed at me. You literally... Okay,
Steven
whatever,
is claiming
buddy.
that I never contacted him directly, implying that he'd had
Wow.
no information about this, but it admits to knowing the confrontation with Chris was recorded.
Sound like some bullshit to me.
By the way, I wasn't going to make fun of Steven so much, but I gave him so many chances to communicate with me, and he just didn't do anything. So clearly he doesn't care what I have to say. It's only an issue when there's potential backlash.
I didn't say anything.
I've come to make an announcement! Shadow the Hedgehog is a bitch-ass motherfucker!
Wow. One minute of this? No fucking way.
He pissed on my fucking wife, that's right. He said his dick was this big, and I said that's disgusting. So I'm making a call post on my Twitter.com. Shadow the Hedgehog, you got a small fucking dick. It's the size of this walnut, but way fucking smaller. And guess what?
Oh my
Here's what
God.
my dong looks like. That's right, baby. No points, no quills, no pillows.
I have this
Look at
on
that.
2
It
times
looks like
speed too.
balls and a bong. He fucked my wife. Guess what? I'm gonna fuck the earth. That's right. That's what you get.
This is
I
hilarious.
super laser piss.
Wow.
Except I'm not gonna piss on the earth. I'm going
I'm a rapist. Okay.
higher. I'm gonna piss on the moon.
Wow.
How do you like that, oh bomber? You have 23 hours before the.
Guys, look, I made a funny meme about an alleged rapist. I just don't understand why other YouTubers treat shit like a joke. I am here to do the responsible thing and report it. The fuck are you doing?
Droplets fall on the earth.
Other people
Now
don't
get
know
out
how
of
to
my
handle
fucking
serious
fucking
assault.
what you do?
Hey,
So what I
hey,
think
cat. Hey, stop. You just ripped like a little piece off of my fucking plushie's ear. But anyways, this is the chick who claims that she takes this shit seriously, right? And she doesn't mishandle sexual assault allegations for the victims, right? Wow.
You know, it came from me, discussed it,
Wow.
blew it off, or decided it was nothing, and forgot
fucking
about it
amazing.
and started facing some public backlash, and proceeded
Wow.
to blame me. Because he was so concerned with direct communication, I ended up sending him this email detailing who I talked to, why this is important, and why this isn't a single incident. Good afternoon, Stephen. This email is your requested private communication.
Okay,
regarding
I
Chris
think that's all we need to see.
Who knows who's putting the gum there?
I've been asked
What the fuck is this?
He
What
cropped
is
out
this?
a lot of Brittany's talking points to sound like she was talking to herself.
Okay.
So go check Brittany's logs and report back.
Lily started at 5.
Logs and report back.
Now onto the gum
That's your
story.
homework, unless you're stupid enough to believe Lily on her word, which, you know, can't really help you there. And also, she cut out all the dog fucking pictures in the patch section, so, you know.
Okay, thanks. I didn't want to see that. Thanks, buddy. Dog warts.
When we were... So we started school at like 5 or 6. Lily started at 5, I started at 6. And we always got the bus up at the top entrance of the trailer park where there was the store. Now, the trailer park used to be gated for whatever reason, and the stone walls that held the gates are still
Why are we
in place. I'm
talking
pretty
about
sure they might
this?
even still be there to this day, but they were when we were growing up. And, you know, people used to just stick their chewed gum to it to discard their gum.
Yeah.
And while we were waiting for the bus up by that store, Lily made a habit starting at like 7 years old of like peeling the gum off of this wall and eating it. Not like chewing it, just like swallowing it, just eating it.
It reminds me of that scene in Elf where he's just going around New York City and he's just like...
So you drew a... They're talking about some shit that she did as a kid. What? Why'd she... Okay.
But they were when we were growing up. And,
great relevance,
you know, people
okay.
used to just stick their chewed gum to it to discard their gum.
Yeah.
And while we were waiting for the bus up by that store, Lily made a habit starting at like 7 years old of like peeling the gum off of this wall.
And they premiered this shit, by the way. Anyways, guys, we're gonna watch Brody's react, alright? We're done with that. We're done with that, okay? Hold on. Oh, God. God. Where is it? This is the one. Saber in the fucking thumbnail, okay?
Does the light...
I hate this shit, okay? Oh my god, it's Saber. Anyways, Gilded went to bed, but I'm bringing this up because it's got Saber Spark from back in the day, alright? And then it's also got fucking what's her face? Kim Possible. I'll raid this bitch in a fucking minute. Amazing. Wow. This is fucking awful, by the way. This isn't fast enough for me. This man's autistic. That's why he stands like that, alright? It's still on 2x speed. I remember these fuckers.
Is a smell, right? No, he's the world famous brony. He does a bunch of video blogs. He's got Bronies React. He does Bronies React. The Bronies React? No, it's an easy way for us to get a lot of likes and not do a lot of work. Oh, okay, let's go do that. Okay.
Luna, he actually only mentioned me and Twilight Spartan.
So why don't you just stay here and just continue eating your cereal?
Kitty, get off my wall. God damn it. Hold on. Love how there's like 150
Season 6
people.
premiere of My Little Pony, and if you haven't seen Zootopia, what's your problem?
Stop yelling!
Another season of My Little Pony. We're on like season 12 or something, right?
You know what? The people like this, like be autistic, have your special interests and shit like that. But like these grown men being into My Little Pony back in the day when I was a child, watching My Little Pony, these are the people who make me ashamed to be a quote-unquote brownie, right? I got fucking Pinkie Pie, I got plushies, I've got fucking figures. I grew up with this shit. Enjoy what you want. I'm not saying that, you know, adults can't fucking like kids shit, right? You can. I'm just gonna think you're a little bit odd being like a man in his 20s or 30s being this fucking obsessed with like My Little Pony being like, it's a rainbow day! It's a rainbow day! Like, what the fuck? And also, like, not to shit on that, but you can tell that this is probably, like, their fixation or something. Because of the lack of social awareness and the way these guys behave. It reminds me of, like, this group that I was, you know, engaged with in, like, what, early middle school or some shit like that. And they would fucking T-pose. Just fucking T-pose in the courtyard and, like, a bunch of stupid shit. Like, they give off that fucking vibe. Like the fucking band kid, theater kid hybrid.
Let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Racy Ace Best here.
Who does he look like? Who does he look like? Who does he look like? He looks like that, what's his name? What's his name? He's like the emo, song producer. Not Jimmy Urine. Fuck. Was it Boy in a Band? Boy in a Band? Is it Boy in a Band? Is it fucking Boy in a Band? Boy in a Band. Oh, I gotta get rid of you. I don't want you. It's like this dude, but like not emo.
Season 6 premiere of My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic.
This dude, calm the fuck down. Like I said, you can tell they're diagnosed with something. This guy's ADHD. A lot of. Oh, that's actually kind of cute. I want that mug.
All right.
Anyways,
Hello, everyone. I'm here once again. I got a new haircut.
You can
just
tell
to
that none of
celebrate
them are
Starlight's new main
neurotypical,
style.
basically.
No, that's just a coincidence.
Why are you fucking smelling your mic?
Or was it?
Hi, I'm Kate.
Okay, let me just screenshot this and send it to Gilded Poo, okay? Because he thinks that Kim Possible is fat, but she's not. Where are you, my darling Poo? Poo Pot, here you go. White woman jump scare, okay.
Hey, and I'm in Bernie's React again, sort of.
Alright, I am.
That's from
not
years
ready
ago,
for
though?
this.
Well, I don't know what she fucking looks like right now, okay? Wow.
I'm ready.
Alright, season 6 premiere. Let's do this. Heck yes, I'm ready to react to some stuff.
I remember being a child and specifically watching Brony reacts for these dudes because I thought they were so fucking sick. Like, with their custom fucking painted uniforms and shit like that. I was so enamored. What the fuck? Hello? What was that? What was that? What was that? What was that? What the fuck was that on the side? What the fuck? I'm so fucking lost.
I am 2.5 seconds into this season
I'm so
premiere and
lost.
I'm already disappointed.
Oh, hey, Hitler.
Ah, well, look who it is. Sunset Glimmer.
Dude, imagine this guy. Not that guy. Hello. Okay.
Oh, hey,
Okay.
Hitler.
Okay.
Ah,
Okay.
well,
Come on.
look who it is. Sunset Glimmer.
Imagine this dude. You just had sex with him, and he puts his fucking hand out, and he's like, "Friends?" And he's sitting there looking at you like that. He's kind of scary.
Starlight Shimmer.
Friends?
I'm sorry, they're like the exact same character, and I don't know why they had to make two of them. I really thought Sunset was good enough. I mean, she is the best pony on the show.
He's so happy.
But no, let's make one that's a communist with John Travolta haircut. I don't even, from the movie Hairspray. It makes sense now. But
Friends?
these characters don't even make sense. That's the problem. They have almost the exact same name.
Bro's just yapping.
Sunset Shimmer and...
Dude, he's doing the fucking, boy, you have won the internet shit. It's fucking awful.
This castle looked a lot smaller from the outside.
Don't you mean bigger on the inside?
Twilight must have bought the expansion set.
That's funny because it is a lot smaller from the outside, kind of like the TARDIS.
Morning, Starlight. Whoops.
Oh, how embarrassing.
You've seen him in less.
Spike, he be naked.
He's wearing a towel, as opposed to normally when he wears nothing.
Why avert her eyes? He doesn't wear anything. He's just wearing a towel now.
Morning, Starlight.
I don't think mirrors work that way. See, by facing the camera, my face...
Listen, I think this is more important than any of the allegations, any of anything, okay? Any of this. Any of, like, the Birdie shit, any of the Saber Spark allegations, all right? This is more important. This is awesome. Also, why the fuck is he looking at me like that? Okay. I feel like any frame I pause on this video, they're gonna look kind of fucked up. Also /J for those who don't understand. I'm joking and shit like
Isn't
that.
visible in the...
Next door on the left.
Maybe you can point it out to me, Spike.
The rapist. Griffin. Pedophile.
My face isn't visible in the...
The pedophile.
Next door on the left.
Maybe you can point it out to me, Spike. Point it out.
Acceptance.
Bro.
Altruism, definitely.
What did we get?
Also, why is he talking about Spike like that?
I got a little turned around.
That's a baby. Shut up, bitch. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Oh my god.
You're letting me stay here.
Neither is
There are adults who love the show that are disabled. Not to say being disabled is the only requirement to like it, nor is this an insult. Bullying kids over it is obviously crossing the line. Yeah. Kitty, stop. I'm an adult. I still fuck with My Little Pony. It's just like, this whole thing was just like awkward to watch.
Only one, Starlight. You are not the only one.
Oh, sure, you can stay here. It's not like
And I think what makes it better is like the endless commentary. The endless commentary. It's just like they'll play like one small clip from the fucking show, and then it. Okay, I just realized the way he's looking at me. Okay, they'll show like a 2-second clip, right? And then it's like 10 fucking people talking about the 2 seconds of clip. The 2 seconds of content. It's just like, what the fuck is going on? It's so funny.
As your pupil, after everything I did.
Oh, nonsense. I got 2 pupils, see?
Well,
I am the princess of forgiveness.
You're scaring me.
After all.
Oh. You're scaring me.
I'm not one to dwell on the past.
I'm not one to dwell on the past, or perhaps I'm not one to learn from the past.
I was just trying to figure out what your first friendship lesson should be.
I mean, I wouldn't normally have this many friendship lessons for anybody, but you tried to brainwash people. I'm just taking precautions.
After this, I move on to the bees.
No, not the bees.
Stop smelling your fucking mic, bro.
Oh, this is where she goes back to being evil.
My little pony, my little pony.
They all are actually like image reaction worthy. Somebody needs to like
that is 10
screenshot this shit and trace over it.
My little pony, my little pony.
Ah, they're gonna do the Halo thing. They're gonna do the fucking Halo thing. Yep.
No. Hasn't changed after 6 seasons.
I love this song.
Oh my god.
Just like Black Griffin.
I guess.
Wait, what'd you just fucking say?
I love this song.
Yeah, just like Black Griffin.
Oh, I thought you said I love kids, just like Black Griffin.
I guess after being a fan of her 4 years, it kind of grows on you.
We're not on the Kim Possible video. I just kind of derailed.
Luna, no, you're not in this react.
I didn't think there were this many lessons for anything.
You know what? Speaking of My Little Pony, we're not gonna watch this, all right? I have some fucking Reddit gold in my fucking server somewhere. Where is it? Oh my god! Hello. Why are there so many images of me and fucking jitter up, bro? Hello. Okay, hold on. Hold up. We found something good. Okay. We found something great. Now stay with me. Okay, stay with me. This is gonna be like epic.
And so, after your kids got back from the Doyar Tree, your mother and
what the fuck is this? I've never seen this before.
So they drove down to the autozone down the street to get on a one.
I'm gonna tell it to you straight, Uncle Chuck. We don't care.
Mom said, it's my turn to play with Rainbow Dash.
No, she's fast like me, and you always get to play with Rainbow Dash. You can be Fluttershy.
I don't want to be Fluttershy. She's ugly, and you haven't been
She's
fast
ugly?
since you gained 700 pounds.
I was about to say, why is he so rotund and everybody... You're both rotund. Why is she the only one, like, taking care? Also, why are his cheeks out like that? What the fuck is happening? Whoa!
It's not like that, Uncle Chuck.
Damn, Uncle Chuck, you could slather some honey on those buns.
No.
No, honestly. Spread him... I want to spread his cheeks like butter and pull him apart and have the oil dripping down the cracks. Okay. My bad. I'm sorry.
Y just go upstairs and start cleaning the toilets inset allí, antes del meridiano to yacht. Just so me use my duile your motor isn't around.
Okay, see you. Wouldn't wanna be
Why is he so emo?
Don't forget to clean around behind the toilet, old man. You know Sonic misses half the time.
Hello? Hello?
I'm here.
I'm here.
Behind you, look. Behind you.
This is like terrifying.
I'll go get it. You're real. Oh my god, you're really real.
It's him. It's Sonic the Hedgehog
What
of the
the
Faded
fuck
Prophecy.
is this?
I can't believe Sonic the Hedgehog is real. The
I can't
chosen
believe
one
he's
has come
real.
at last.
Oh my god, it's the mile.
Dude, what the fuck is going on? Dude. There's so much to fucking
Little
process.
ponies, I always knew you were real.
She's like...
Shut up, you ugly pink bitch.
Damn, okay.
See your brother Sonic the Hedgehog, the fastest speedster alive.
He hasn't been so fast since he's gotten fat.
You shut up too. Your hair looks like blades of grass.
I don't think that's the princess of fucking Trench. Why is it still going? They do not safe for work incest stuff?
Settle down, everybody.
No!
Yes. I'm back from my meeting, everybody. Now where's my personal beach?
Bartleby, my lover.
Maybe I
That
shouldn't
Bartleby
watch it.
Montclair of
Ah!
Resin, Sonic.
Okay, I'm not watching that. I just saw poop. Fucking hell. I'm not doing that. I'm I'm gonna A-law. I'm gonna fucking stalk Gamma, okay?
Also, what's up,
What
Vanessa?
the
Hello.
fuck are you watching?
What'd you miss? Really nothing. It's
$1.99. There's
fully
literally a whole
It's a slow day.
storyline over episodes.
It's a really,
Okay,
really
to
slow
explain what I saw fucking Twilight Sparkle caked up with shit all over her cheeks. I don't want to watch that. I don't want to watch that. I don't want to fucking
and then
watch
I got in an
that.
on-duty.
Oh my god, I don't want to watch it. I don't want to watch it. I don't want to watch it. I don't care if she was shitting. I don't care. God, you know what? I'm tired. I'm fucking tired. I'm tired. I need to go to bed. I have been thoroughly traumatized by the past two things I've covered. I don't want to be alive or awake anymore. But hey, tomorrow at 9:30 p.m. or maybe in the morning, right? CDT. All right, CDT. Guess what? We're going to be going over the Chuli stuff, okay? Yeah, the Lyo Convoy. Oh, wait, no, not Lyo Convoy. My bad, bruh. We're going to be going over Chuli shit and Heaton stuff, too. Anyways, yeah.